Remember today's date because this is the day that the physical video game era came to an end. Welcome to Gaming News Today. If you're watching this live or you're catching the replay, brace yourself because the landscape of the industry just shifted permanently beneath our feet. For years, we've been warned about the all-digital future. We watched the slow bleed of digital-only console SKUs, vanishing physical deluxe editions, and shrinking shelf space at retail. We saw the PS5 Pro launch without a disc drive, forcing people to hunt down standalone attachments just to play games that they already owned. We thought it would be a slow fade. We thought we had until the end of the decade to adjust. Well, we were wrong, and it feels like a coordinated execution. Sony and Xbox appear to be joining forces to kill the disc drive once and for all, and they're going to do it in very different ways with very different strategies. So let's just start with Team Blue. We covered this yesterday. Sony didn't just drop a rumor, they dropped a hard cutoff. An official statement straight from the PlayStation blog declaring that by January of 2028, PlayStation will completely cease manufacturing and distributing physical game discs for all new releases, period. First party, third party, all of it. The clock is officially ticking. That means that the PlayStation 6 launches around that window. It's going to be born into a world without a disc drive. Maybe there'll be an optional disc drive for your current physical library, but that remains unknown. It means Grand Theft Auto 6 is not just a massive game, with Rockstar already rumored to be putting codes in physical boxes, and they think that's a physical release, I guess. GTA 6 might genuinely be the canary in the digital-only coal mine, if that is the way you want to look at it. It's the final milestone before the lights go out. And the concern for the consumer, well, here, I think, is that the de facto console, the one with the biggest footprint for, discs, well, Sony is locking the door. They're throwing away the key. They're forcing a 100% digital margin where they can control the price, the store, and the access. But if you think Microsoft is playing consumer-friendly here, well, it's not quite that way either. There are leaks now coming from Windows Central and The Verge, two outfits that have sources that have consistently gotten things right about Xbox. And they just said something about Project Helix that's very interesting. They're claiming that system is dropping the disk drive entirely. No optional attachable drive, no physical SKU, none of that. This isn't even if it launches. I actually have my suspicions that that entire plan could be on the table for cancellation. With the rising hardware costs, there's a brand new interview, or there's at least statements from Matthew Ball about how they're completely rethinking Helix. I think they're already dropping hints that that thing might not come to the market, at least not even remotely in the way that people expected. Microsoft and Xbox are cutting spending right now, and Helix may be the bridge that's just seen as too far, or a bridge too expensive. But there is a potential silver lining here with Microsoft. To soften the blow, they're reportedly prepping a disc-to-digital program. And on paper, it sounds like a miracle for backwards compatibility. Now, Xbox 360 and original Xbox games are allegedly not included in this, but this is what they're saying. You would take your Xbox One or your Series X discs, put them in this machine or whatever it is, and once the disc is in there, it would authenticate and then grant you a digital license to your account that you could carry your library over to an all-digital Helix. Now, this is better on one hand, but it's turning a physical collection into a digital one, which goes completely against why many people were growing a physical library to begin with. Think about it. Why would many people buy physical? Well, a lot of them do it to avoid the digital trappings of not truly owning the game, since a digital license can be revoked at any time. Many gamers buy physical so they have a tangible asset. But under Xbox's new system, the digital entitlement would be tied to the data on that piece of plastic and then on your hard drive. The second then you would loan that disc to a friend or sell it to a secondary market, it would get scanned into another console, and then your digital license could be instantly revoked. this turns your physical disc into a DRM key, essentially. So while Sony is using a lockout, Xbox is using a loophole, but the destination is exactly the same, a future where your ownership is a revocable license. A license, mind you, that you can't return and get a refund on if the game launches and is broken or bad. You're generally left just stuck with that game, unless, of course, everybody switches to Steam. If you buy a broken physical game today, you could take it back to the store and you could sell it, trade it in, you could recoup some of your losses. If the game sucks, if it's not fun, you could at least trade it in and get some of that money back. In this all digital age that we're going into, if a game launches and is unplayable, it's a mess, you're just stuck at the mercy of a corporate automated refund policy that typically just denies you the ability to get your money back because, well, you downloaded the game or played it for a few minutes. They get your money and you get a broken digital license, basically, and you have zero recourse. So, I want to know where you stand on this. The general problem isn't that digital is bad, it's that digital is not protected. We don't own it in a permanent sense, and we also don't know how preserved it could be in the future. There are often times where games either get delisted or are no longer available. Now, that doesn't mean you couldn't download them from your library and play them, but there is the concern about preservation and ownership. So I'm curious where you guys stand on this. Are you holding on to your physical collection until they rip it from your cold, dead hands? Or are you willingly sort of stepping into the all-digital trap like many of us have already done? I just did it because it was convenient. And I know a lot of people want to get self-righteous and say, well, we traded ownership for convenience. Listen, I know most of the people saying that didn't read the TOS of the digital games that they bought either. I don't know if there's anybody out there who has literally never purchased a digital game, and if you have, good for you, but the vast majority of the gaming public moved on. Some of this is supply and demand. If you're continuing to spend large amounts of money on the physical editions, the discs, the jewel cases, the shipping rates, and you're watching the world lose its mind, and shipping costs are going up, and raw materials are more expensive, and the production of these things is getting more expensive, so that's all going up while you're watching consumers buy it less. Sometimes the math just kind of maths itself. If you are frustrated by this, it's understandable, especially if you were trying to maintain a physical library. To the rest of us who moved on to digital, it is a bit of a wake-up call. These companies can pretty much do whatever they want sometimes, but not always. The blowback from this is significant. Many people are predicting that Xbox might change their minds because they haven't made an official announcement yet. So they could change course, watching PlayStation take the brunt of this, and people are saying PlayStation may even walk it back, which probably isn't going to happen given the significant amount of costs that they're able to avoid by not doing this any longer. So, this is where we are. We don't really know where we're headed. So, smash the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Let's break this down and discuss it right now. Thanks so much for watching. Also, remember, if you leave comments below, I try to reply to those as well. So, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, guys. This is, it's sort of a sucky thing to see both companies at the same time. Now again, Xbox has the advantage right now. They haven't officially announced anything. So, they could, sorry, Discord, I swear I unmute that and it gets remuted somehow. Xbox has the advantage here. They haven't officially announced anything. So Xbox could be like, maybe we should look into disk drive production. The main problem facing Xbox would be that they are literally lowering expenses everywhere they can right now. The last thing they're going to do is like, let's get bill of materials for disk drives. Like, I don't even know if the Helix is coming based on the Matt Ball interview that I read. They are already sort of laying down the railroad track to be like, let's not do this. That's what it sounds like to me, because everything's on the table. They are allegedly canceling games that are in development right now. If they're going to do that, Helix isn't really much anything to them in the grand scheme of things. I do have some people to thank, though. Let's get the goal up on the board. Han shot first, and so did you. A 5-bomb to kick off the day from Mr. Haseo. And then Top Reply renews for 39 months. Rent's due, good morning. And then Darth Nihilus gifts 1 as well. And then 7 minutes ago, Top Reply also double dipped over there on purple. And look at that, we're 1 away from 250. As a reminder, if we hit the goal this week, the evening stream with my wife where we have her kind of react to gaming news, it's hysterical and you don't want to miss it. But this week, it will be Friday night instead of Saturday night. Saturday is the 4th of July. I ain't going to be here, boys. All right, so we're going to do it on Friday night, and you guys are well within reach of it on a Thursday. We're in a good spot. So thank you so much, Zen, for using your Prime on Purple and securing the first milestone. I owe a member to Twitch. Twitch does have a discount on 5 bombs and above. It's 35% off. So if you're going to be gifting bombs, that's the place to do it. Gaming is dead. Long live gaming. That kind of feels like the news cycle, doesn't it, Phil? It's like Jiminy Christmas. It's like, you know. Oh, by the way, I saw him in chat. I followed you on Twitter and you followed me back. Technically T. Listen, man. You are getting the brunt of it. It doesn't help when Trevor Noah quote tweets you and disagrees with you. Open invitation. Would love to have you on the show to talk about that. This homie got beat up on Twitter, dude. They were mad at him because of his opinion on the digital future that we're heading for. He got a big lot of views on that tweet. That's when you just mute the tweet and put your phone away. You're like, oh, frick. I'm just not going to look at that. Jiminy. Good morning, gangs. I think losing physical medium is bad, says Tobacco Man. Bad for ownership and preservation. It's a dark day. Somebody says Trevor Noah is such a douchebag. I thought what Trevor said was totally fair and fine. I actually almost met him. I was like 5 feet from him at an EA event, and he was playing some soccer game. And I didn't want to do the cliche thing where, like, you interrupt somebody because, like, they're famous or whatever. So I was like, I just let it go. And Joker Quinn with a gifted member to push us to 251. Thank you very much, Joker Quinn. Go Team USA 2-0. Yeah, great work last night, USA, managing to single-handedly beat a referee in the World Cup. What a freaking joke. It's stupid. Anyways, people are trading game keys, buying cheaper, selling couple for more. It's not a great way to make profit on people to scam them. I never buy those. Don't believe the CD keys and other nonsense. That's too cheap. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Igor. Losing physical is bad, says Top Reply, but I converted a long time ago, so it doesn't really affect me. They need to have a better refund policy. I think we're getting good universal agreement about the fact that, number one, the consumer is not protected. We're not. It's like we don't actually own the game. Like we do. We do, but it's got a little asterisk next to it. And a 5-bomb comes in from Wired Rope over there on Twitch. Thank you very much. It's like we own it. We do. I was telling people that yesterday. We have not completely sacrificed ownership. This whole, if I can't own it, then I can't steal it thing. Come on. We own it. It's that the ownership is not properly protected. We also aren't properly protected with refunds. Like, if a game comes out and is in really bad shape, we should be able to give that license back. We should be able to give the product back. Ala Park, what are you saying here? I hang on. I need to look at it over here on this screen because that's... I know you're probably used to hearing this, Ala Park, but it's really small. He says here, it just feels odd to me that Sony is doing this after winning the PS4 era with that one presentation, how to share our games with our friends, but you can't do that now. Gaming on, Xbox could do it right back now if they wanted. Here's the thing. I said that this morning. I said Xbox has an advantage here. I don't know if they play the advantage, but they have the advantage. They could come out and say, we're committed to ownership or physical or something to that effect going forward. Okay? They could play that advantage. I don't think they're going to, because nobody right now is interested in spending more money. Introverted with $2 super chat says, R-Matey, where are my discs? The platform with all the piracy hasn't had discs in a really long time, my friend. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't think they're going to. Nobody wants to spend more money right now, and that's what this is. This is an opportunity to spend less money. And Xbox is headed to a future where they primarily publish really, really big games and largely don't do much with hardware. I don't know how you could look at it any other way. I know these guys are like clinging to like the idea of a Helix, and it's like, y'all need to really listen. What did Matt Ball say? I actually think that's a very timely question, Will. Let's look at what this homie said. Hang on, let me see if I can find it. Oh, I put it in the member chat. I thought I saved it. Hang on. I can probably scroll up and find it. Just give me a brief moment here. You guys weren't super active this morning in the Discord, so I should be able... Right here. Okay. What the frick did I just do? It put the article on my... It put the article on the teleprompter. All right, here we go. All of a sudden, it's like blinded by the light. Oh, copyright claim. Here we go. Right here. He says, we are working very hard to rethink everything that we can about Helix, which is a console we are committed to shipping, and we are very cognizant of the ways in which we need to change as a company to make sure it is affordable, to make sure it is flexible. We are working hard to rethink what the console model can look like, not in an exclusionary way, but in an additive way. But we are working very hard to figure out the best way to navigate it for a way that works for everyone, that does not ask too much on players, but also doesn't detract from other investments that we need to make. Homies, listen to what this guy's saying. The Helix is holding on by a thread. How many times does he need to say we're working hard? We're working very hard to rethink. We're working very hard to rethink. We're working very hard to figure out. Okay, we're glad to know that you're working very hard. Thank you for saying that 3 times in the span of 30 seconds. But this 100% is like, y'all need to chill. Y'all need to chill thinking that this thing's a surefire thing. It's like he's talking about how it needs to be flexible and affordable, and I don't know. You know, this guy says, give us the PlayStation fanboy salt. Oh, you're one of those, huh? I don't know who you... I can't even see what you said anymore. I don't know what happened. Don't go towards the light. That's right. Reforge is a fan of the Weekend. I don't know. I don't think so. What I'm hearing is we are going to get Asus to make them. Zubair, that was my thought. If Helix comes to the market, it's going to be like an Asus OEM thing, and I don't think it's going to be nearly as exciting as people were hoping for. Now, the one thing that I hope that they... Hang on a second. I could see like a piece of like fuzz out of the corner of my eye, and it was driving me crazy. It was like right on, got it. It was like right on the mic. The one thing that I do hope they stick to is their commitment to backwards compatibility. So this disc to digital thing could be pretty good. It could be. You're still taking your physical library and turning it into a digital library, which sort of goes against the entire intention that people had when they started a physical collection and then, you know, added to it all these years. That also is like your whole weekend. I mean, I know people are like, hey, this disc to digital thing doesn't sound too bad. Okay. Enjoy that being your weekend. Like you have like 100 to 200 discs, and you're like, well, I know what I'm doing this weekend. Like, put it in, turn it into digital. Like, I don't know how fast it'll be. I mean, you would think it would be pretty quick. Also, there's going to have to be something that ties you to that particular disc. So if you give the disc to your friend and he tries to do the same thing, he's going to frickin' take your license from you, right? Like, I don't know. Would they let you turn it into a digital and then you just circulate the disc and then everybody turns it into digital and then everybody gets the game? Why would you do them all at once? Just do it if you want to play the game. Well, I think the idea is, I guess, sure, you don't have to do them all at once. I was thinking along the lines of like, do it while you can. Like, do it all in one swing so it's just done and you don't have to worry about the discs anymore. Like, you could put them into storage, you could put them away, you could sell them. Again, I'm assuming if you sell them, the license is going to be attached to the disc somehow. Yes, it is now official. If you guys don't follow me on Twitter, that's fine. It's a garbage platform anyway. But if you do follow me on Twitter, you might have seen me tweet last night. Onimusha Way of the Sword did in fact have its release date set earlier. It's now on September the 4th. I said there were rumblings. We saw like a retail post that had it on the 4th. And I was like, that sounds great. Let's do it. Because September 24th, 25th, and the 28th, and the 26th, like that whole, slew of days was freaking terrible. And so, yeah, September the 4th is now the new release date for Onimusha. So you have some time to beat that before Wolverine comes out. And then Phantom Blade Zero moved away from early September and is now like late October. So Pragmata did that too. Oh, that's right. Pragmata moved its release date to... Capcom is just being the best. They're like, not only are we going to make amazing games, we're just going to give them to you earlier sometimes, just as like a little present, like hello and Merry Christmas from Capcom. Creature says, yeah, that might go away. It's Microsoft. Yeah, I would do it while you can. The disc to digital thing. Yeah, I would do it while they're letting you, just convert them all. Doing them all sounds like downloading your entire Steam library. We don't need to spend any more time on this. I was largely being silly. Like, if you have a large collection, it's going to be, a pretty significant amount of time to do that. And then you hope again that they don't stop allowing you to do it, or, whatever the machine is. Whatever the machine is that's going to let you do this, I'm assuming is going to be something you're going to buy secondarily. Don't tell me what I can yell about. Blood of Dawnwalker and Onimusha both near my birthday of September the 4th. Oh, that's right. Blood of Dawnwalker's close to that. I'm probably going to be playing me some Onimusha instead. Blood of Dawnwalker looks good. I want to play it. It looks like it's going to be a pretty enormous game, too. Like, sort of in the lane of like a Witcher or something. So if you guys are watching on YouTube and you haven't hit the like button yet, make sure you make that just like your ritual. When you come into a live stream, before you start chatting, give me that old thumbs up. Apologies, I missed the opening. I don't accept your apology. Be here on time, all right? Who the frick do you think you are? What is this disc to digital story? I can go back if you're past it. Go back! No, I'm just kidding. So they're reporting that so people with sources are saying that the Helix is not going to have a disc drive, but they're looking into... This is super loose, y'all. Let's just be real. I should have said that in my show open. Microsoft is looking into the idea of a disc to digital system where you could take your physical collection and turn it into a digital collection. Okay? Lono talking about being on time. I don't know what you're talking about. Every time I hit live, I'm on time. I don't know. I mean, it's right when I mean to. I don't know what your problem is. Anyway, Helio Lima was 7 months. Let me add it to the total. Appreciate the follow on X. $20 from Technically T. I gave you a shout out a little bit ago. You might not have heard it. Open invitation. I'd love to have you on the show because you're going through it on Twitter, brother. Like I said, if you were here earlier, it doesn't help when Trevor Noah retweets you and disagrees with you. But you're going through it, dude. I would just mute the tweet and move on. It was significant. It's Chill Will with a $2 super chat. Obsidian just joined the closure rumors today. What? Obsidian is in negotiation with Microsoft to avoid closure, along with Compulsion, Ninja Theory, Double Fine, Undead Labs, and others. Boy, it's about to be dark time. You're fighting for your life. I mean, we might as well, this is a contentious subject, but yeah, the disc to digital thing, guys, it's very loose at the current moment. It's very, very loose. Like, people are literally saying take it with a grain of salt, okay? Thank you for the $5 super chat. Broken Earth says, a streamer is never late, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to. That's right. That's right. All right. So here's technically T, and he's technically handsome. All right. Okay. So let's just scroll down here. He's going through it out here, boys. And let's see. Where's the tweet? You didn't delete it, did you? No. You should have kept it up. You should have kept it up. Where did it go? Oh no. You should have kept it up. Oh wait, is this it? Yeah. This is it. I couldn't find it. You just did a lot of tweets. That's all. Yo, J. Chris with the $5 super chat. I found it. Lono was never late. Nor is he late. Nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to. You guys both made the same joke. Now you both need to fight to the death to claim the joke. All right, so this is what technically T said. Okay, and I don't know if you guys can see this number. He's going through it. 6.2 million views. That's what you call virality, all right? And not really the kind that you want, okay? He's getting kind of beat up here, and we feel for you. He says, I'd love to come on. I work in the office during the day, but appreciate it. Okay. He says, I personally don't care that there aren't going to be any more physical discs for PlayStation. I haven't bought a hard copy in 10 years. I play the game, I enjoy it, and that's it. I never understand the outrage. You were so good. I think you would have been fine until that part right there. You were totally fine. You're like, listen, I personally don't care. Okay? I haven't bought a hard copy in 10 years. I play the game, enjoy it, and that's it. Right? This would have been okay. As soon as you said, I never understand the outrage, oh, they're coming for you now. They're coming. They're coming for you now. They're like, hey, we're allowed to be outraged. And Trevor Noah got him. Trevor Noah retweeted it and was like, all right, I'm not going to agree with you. Okay. Let's see. Here it is. This is really what set your world on fire, I think. It might have already been going viral before that. But Trevor says, I completely understand where you're coming from, but for a lot of gamers, physical discs are the only way they can afford to play games because they could get them secondhand. You can also give games to your younger siblings, which is a great way to introduce them to the games that you are playing. More importantly, though, as we saw from PlayStation this past week, if the media we buy is only digital, it can be taken away from us at a moment's notice with no recourse. Imagine that one day your entire library of games could be deleted overnight because technically you don't own it. Now props to you. Trevor only got 1.6 million views and you have 6.2 million views on your tweet. So take that, Trevor Noah. Anyways. Yeah, I think you were fine. When you talked about the outrage, though, I think you probably poked the bear. People were like, hey, mister. They didn't call you that. They called you way worse than mister, but I'm just going to say mister for the stream here. They're like, hey, mister, that's not, we're allowed to be angry, and here's why. And to be fair, there are even parts of the world where the internet is so dadgum slow. This is a nightmare for them. Like downloading GTA 6 or any game of size, like this is a nightmare for people in those parts of the world. They buy physical. It's easier for them. The internet infrastructure is just not there in some places. I don't know if you saw this or not. Mike Ibarra says, sad to see this happening across the entire gaming industry. I guess it was going to happen at some point, but I didn't think it would be this soon. I'm not a collector, and I only buy digital, so it doesn't impact me. What I personally don't like is the Christmas morning and birthday parties for young kids, having to open a game only to have to spend potentially hours downloading it. Realize a lot of people have faster bandwidth, but still, he's like, it's a real bummer. I get games have patches and consoles require massive updates and times, but the fundamental magic I felt opening my NES during Christmas morning and immediately playing games was partially what made me fall in love with the industry. Oh, it's a huge, and J. Chris comes in with a 10 bomb and gets us to 267. I get the other side as well, but it's all good. Emotional reaction. to what people love. Oh, for sure. You were going through it on Twitter because people were definitely in their feelings. And I think one of the reasons, this is one of the times where I think it's totally okay to be in your feelings about this, as Mike Ibarra is making a sort of an emotional argument, which I think sometimes emotional arguments are fitting. This is a consumer response to a loss. And I think people should let their voices heard. Let them know, let them know that you don't like this. I don't think they're going to change course, but I do think that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to, there's supposed to be backlash, when consumers feel that something has happened they don't want to see happen. Broken Earth with the gifted. Thank you so much. Broken Earth's going to do 2 gifteds. I know what he's doing. He's going to do 1 more. It's anybody's game. Anybody can take the 275 milestone. I've given away all my discs from past generation hardware to include the hardware. And there it is. Broken Earth sets up the 270 tee-off to maybe a 275. What's good, Hilly? I see you in the chat. I'm giving Hilly the feed treatment today. I see you in the chat. The only problem with digital is if the company loses its license for the game, you lose the game. That's not true. That's not a thing. And a 5-bomb comes in from Broken Earth. So there's not a license. Games aren't treated the same way as music and movies. There are games that have a license in it, like a car or something like that, or music or something. But they don't have a license that can get revoked. Like if the publisher's like, hey, we don't want to work with you anymore, you don't suddenly lose all those games. Thank you, Joker Quinn, for gifting a single, Mr. Agent of Chaos. They're not treated like that yet. Right. Obviously, we don't want to lose ground here. We want to gain ground as the consumer. We don't want to lose ground and have games start working that way, because that's one of the problems with movies and music is you can buy a movie right now on Amazon. If Amazon gets in a dispute with that company or the license expires or lapses or something stupid, you lose the movie, which I don't think should happen. That doesn't have anything to do with me as the consumer. We talked about this yesterday. So they need to move towards it not, number one, it not being a license or it not being revocable. And with movies and music, it's even worse because the license can be revoked not to you. Like, I can get banned from a game like Destiny 2 when they went in and Steam banned me because they were retaliating against me trying to expose them. And there's nothing I can do, right? They revoked my license. That wasn't like Steam losing a license with Bungie or something. The whole big post, he lists some things that platforms should do. Creature says, I'd ask Trevor Noah his most recent special, if his most recent special was available on physical media. I know it wasn't, so he can shut up. That's not a pushback on what he said. His pushback wasn't that everything should be available physical and nothing should be digital only. He was explaining to Technical T why there's outrage, right? He says for a lot of gamers, physical discs are the only way they can afford to play games because they get them secondhand, right? He's saying you're killing an entire secondhand market. You're killing an entire fabric of the culture of gaming by getting rid of physical. That's not equivalent to him having a digital-only special. And also, I wouldn't think access to his special. I don't know where's his most recent special. Is it on like Netflix or something? You can access his. I'm imagining you can access that content on a service that's not super expensive. And also, there aren't tons of people right now going to the store to be like, oh, I really wish I could buy Trevor Noah's special on DVD. Do you know what I'm saying? You can still shut up. Well, the messenger doesn't matter if the message rings true. Like, I don't give a frick about him. I don't know enough about him to know why people don't like him. I'm not really concerned with the like and the dislike of celebrities. Like, the point is what he's saying is true. It rings true. It's like, listen, there's an entire secondhand market here and the ability for people to buy games on sale. You can right now buy God of War cheaper from a retailer than you can from the digital store. Like, the secondhand market is gonna get obliterated by this, and that's a bummer for people. It's okay for people to be mad about this. There's two responses to this that I think are extreme, and I just don't think people are going to hold, well, maybe not hold to this. Only one side can't hold to this. There are people going super extreme here. They're like, I'm boycotting PlayStation. I'm never buying a PlayStation 6. And I'm like, I'm very suspicious about them holding to that commitment. The second extreme response is, who the frick cares? Why are people mad? I'm glad this is happening. And it's like, I think both responses are so extreme. It's like, it doesn't have to matter to you for you to see this as a loss for the market. For pockets of the world to basically be like, oh, I guess I can't play that game then. And Risic gifts a single. I owe you guys a single over there on YouTube. I wait for 5 bombs on Twitch. So let me do the single that I owe you guys. Like, there are entire pockets of the world that this screws over. Like, that's a bummer and a loss. I don't want less gamers. Do you? Thank you, Risic, for another gifted. Risic's getting ready to tempt somebody to do the 20 bomb. He's going to do 2 more singles. Somebody get ready. Get your trigger fingers ready. Or your trigger... Yeah, that's right. I said that right. Like, I don't want less gamers. Risic with another one. What's one of the concerns we've all had with the rising hardware costs? What's the concern? We've talked about this. You're going to price people out of the hobby. That's not a good thing. You don't want people in 2030 being like, well, the PlayStation 6 is super expensive and they don't do physical games anymore. I guess I'm out. Like, that's not good for anybody. That's not good for us. It's certainly not good for the person that decides that. And it's not good for the companies. If you like this hobby, you never want to be like, yeah, it's a good thing. Risic, I don't know what are you doing? A 5 bomb from Risic. Wait, did he do the third one? I don't know what you're doing. Is this supposed to be 285? Thank you for the 5 bomb, Risic. I'm lost now. Time to bring back reading. Yeah, libraries are really going to love this, dude. They're going to have a real second wind. When this hits, dude, libraries about to have a comeback, dude. And libraries are going to have to really pull the LL Cool J. They'll be like, don't call it a comeback. We've been here for years. We've been out here, dude. We didn't go anywhere. Out of curiosity, what is Xbox doing? Where they're joining forces with Sony. All of the sources that are in the know about what Xbox is doing are saying they're going digital only in the future as well. He did one before the 5 bomb. There we go. We're at 285 now. I don't know. I can't go back. I don't know how it works. That's what this is what we got. We're at 285. We're 15 away from 300. And he's doing another single. Risic just does whatever the frick he wants. This is his vibe lately. He's just like he's just hitting buttons. AOZ says it's likely the case that the cost savings are passed on to the rest, as this will keep the console price down. I mean, I kind of theorized about that yesterday. I have to tread lightly. If I theorize too much, people are like, he's defending Sony. Like, I can hear the steam pouring out of their tiny brains if I'm not careful in how I phrase things. They'll be coming for me. I did say that yesterday. I said I think this probably has a lot to do with keeping the price of the console down. Right? Like, they don't want to make the drives. They don't want to. They want to keep shipping costs down. They want to keep production costs down. Joker Quinn with a gift that gets us to 287. Like, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a good thing, but it's where we are. It's where we are. Everybody's trying to keep costs down. This is why I keep saying I don't think the Helix is going to come to the market. If it does, it ain't going to be from Xbox. I think it's going to be like an Asus OEM thing. It's not going to be what everybody was hoping for. Why just sell the drives for a profit and make the main version digital only like they're doing now? Well, that's an excellent question, Zubair. It's probably not just about that, though. All of the production lines for those drives can be used for something else. All the money spent on those raw materials, that's still risky because they might not sell enough of them to make profit. They could sit on the frickin' shelves, and then they end up not making profit. It's a market that's proving itself that it's going stagnant, Zoob. So like they're gonna spend money on the drives, the raw materials, all of that stuff's just gonna keep going. And yeah, sure, they could raise the price. They could be like, yeah, physical games are $100 now. You can get the digital for $70, but yeah, physical games are $100 now. Or, you know, the drives are $300. Well, all you're going to do is do what's already happening. You're just going to kill that entire subset of the market. You're just going to murder demand. That's just a that's just a roundabout way to get where they're going. You're just going to kill it. You're going to kill physical. Like, I don't think you're necessarily wrong. Like, they'd be like, well, let's just keep doing it, but let's just do it at a profit so the drives get more expensive and the physical games get more expensive. You're going to bring about the same result. You're just going to make people stop buying physical faster than they already are, and then you're going to kill that part of the market, and the way you did it was by spending a lot of money. Like, they could just be like, no, this is where we're headed. All signs point to physical dying. It just is. The consumer is bringing this about as much as Sony. Like, I get people being angry, but the self-righteousness and the fire Hideaki Nishino and the this is terrible, boycott Sony, it's like, y'all are getting real big about this. How many physical games did you buy in the last 24 months? Now, there are some people that are they're the real ones. They're out here and they don't buy digital at all, and all their stuff is physical. And yeah, I guess they can get really angry, but it's like, I don't know why you're mad at Hideaki Nishino or Herman Holst or PlayStation or Sony or anybody else. The market did this as much as anybody. We did this. We did it. We all responded to convenience like we always do. No one tried to keep Blockbuster in business when you learned you could stream movies. Did anybody hold the line there? Trademark, copyright, King David? Like, did anybody hold the line for Blockbuster? No. You responded to convenience, and so did I. Nobody can get on a high horse here. I don't think so. Screw them and boycott them. What do you mean? Were you out there holding the line for Blockbuster and Hollywood Video? No, you responded to convenience, and then the market had to adapt. Why? Because they weren't making any money. It was like, well, Blockbuster's gone. The market, there's still $7 billion in sales. Sony says that was not enough. I thought it was the other way around. I thought it was $7 billion in digital sales to the $1 billion in physical. The ratio is absurd, brother, and it's getting that's getting worse every year for them. Homie, it's getting worse for them every year. The ratio of digital to physical year on year is just everyone's moving away. So I get that you're frustrated. I'm not saying you can't be frustrated, disappointed, angry, but the high horse, self-righteous, sort of pompous attitude, I'm like, brother, we all did this. We all played a part. If you held the line on physical, good for you. But this is just like when Blockbuster closed up shop. The market went, oh, this is more convenient and easier for my daily life. Voom, and they went to it. It happens all of the time. It happens all the time. Yeah, I saw the clip of MBG saying he won't buy it, like he's not going to support it, or he won't buy a PlayStation 6 or whatever. And I'm like, okay, good luck with that. Yeah, I mean, good luck. If you want to quit gaming or quit YouTubing, I mean, that's his choice. I'm not going to tell anybody what to do or what not to do. I'm just here to tell you, acting like this is like PlayStation's the devil or that Microsoft is the devil, they're responding to the market. Nobody's buying physical to the degree that they want to do it anymore. Like, do you understand? Doesn't make it right, doesn't make it good, doesn't mean I'm supporting it or thinking it's a great thing. I don't like consumers losing choice. I don't. But when consumers are like, I'm out, I'm not buying this anymore, I don't need this anymore, what's the company supposed to do? Just keep making it out of the goodness of their heart? Imagine this was you. Imagine you were running a business. And imagine you were you were delivering baked goods to people. That's what you did. You were delivering baked goods to people. And you had a particular thing that you made that people loved because it was, I don't know, it was gluten-free or something. Okay? As time went on, the time it takes for you to make it, all the stuff you got to buy, you got to make sure your entire, area for baking doesn't have cross-contamination. You got to do all these extra steps, but you're selling almost none of them. You're selling like one of those gluten-free cupcakes, and then you're selling 8 of these others. What the frick do you think you're going to do? You would tell your customers that like buying it, listen, I'm really sorry, but this is costing me more than it's worth at this point. I can make more of the ones that are in demand, so I'm going to do that. And people would be upset and people would be frustrated, but it's like, I'm sorry. You would respond to that if it was affecting your business. And that's what these companies are doing. They're looking at the rising costs of shipping and raw materials and production of anything physical, and they're like, if the customer's moving away from it, why are we going to continue to do this? Curious, have you seen this? What do you got? No, I didn't get a chance to watch that. PC has DRM games you can keep forever. I think the thing that people should be fighting for here is not getting PlayStation to reverse course. This is like gravity. This is unavoidable. This is the inertia. This is the momentum of the market. This is where we're going. What we need to be fighting for is true digital ownership and refunds. That's what we should be fighting for. We should be fighting amongst ourselves. We shouldn't be turning this into a boycott situation. That's not going to do anything. It's not. What will happen is the government will listen if enough people scream and yell and raise Cain and say, listen, we are not protected. We're buying something that is, we have zero true ownership of it. It's ownership with an asterisk next to it. Yes, we own it. It's nuanced. I don't like the false dichotomy of like, well, now we get nothing. We own nothing. And it's like, no, you own a license. That is a version of ownership. It's not a very good version of ownership, but it's ownership. And at the current juncture, it's not in their business interest to just randomly revoke your licenses and take them from you, right? It's not in their business interests. And that's great for now. That's not great in 20 years. I would love to be able to have some type of thing, hardware, cloud service, or something in 20 years. When I'm in my 60s, I would love to be able to, the grandkids come over and I'm going to be like, this is what granddad used to do and play, and this is what I played, and this is what I covered. I want that preservation and I want that ownership. I do. I think that that's important. I think that's more important than screaming and yelling at PlayStation and being like, I'm boycotting you, you should reverse course and keep making physical discs that such a small percentage of people are buying. And my heart goes out to the people that are being, priced out of the hobby. Or in this case, if they're in a region of the world and it's just not feasible for them to download games because the internet's either not there or not fast enough, my heart goes out to those people. That sucks. It's like, yeah, I mean, you are literally not going to be able to, in the most literal sense, there are going to be people that can't get new games. They won't be able to do it, and I absolutely feel for them. But there's nothing we can do to stop this. This is a movement that you can't stop. The market itself has brought this into being. The consumers have brought this into being as much as the companies. They don't get your PSN banned? Well, right. Obviously, you don't want to get your PSN banned or hacked or stolen or whatever. If your PSN is banned, you lose your library. Can we address this? Well, I mean, I don't know how often that happens. The main concern, I don't think, is you getting your PSN banned. I don't think that happens just randomly. I think the main thing to be concerned with is if your PSN gets hacked, like what happened to Colin Moriarty. Like, I'm not saying you can't get banned. How often are people having their entire PSNs banned just for nothing? Like, I'm not saying it's not happening. I'm saying the most common concern would probably be that your account gets compromised and taken. AAA gaming is becoming a luxury. There are plenty of cheap games that play on cheap hardware that are a lot of fun. Well, and that's another part of this that I think people need to remember is this does make room in the market for smaller companies to rise within the developing world. There certainly is more room now for people for people to be able to make games and be like, hey, I know it's all getting more expensive, but like, hey, our digital only game over here on Steam, or maybe they're able to get their games on PlayStation now because they don't have to worry about the stigma around not having a physical release. Some of the smaller companies, they would be fielding those questions on Twitter. They would finally put their game on console, and people be like, well, is there going to be a physical release? That stigma is going to be gone in a couple of years. That could make room in the market for smaller studios to put their games, on a Nintendo or a PlayStation. I remember the Nintendo key cards caused a whole hullabaloo, but I think it was John Linneman from Digital Foundry that said some of the smaller studios actually they like the fact that they can do that because it's a lot easier for them to get their game in the store. Getting your game in the physical store is important, and not having to pay for all that production and all those cards, it actually made it easier for smaller studios. So there are other sides to this coin that could benefit some people. It's not all bad. It certainly isn't very good, but no. World premiere of Cats in the Shell? The heck? This actually looks kind of cool. It's from NetEase, though, so I have a feeling it'll probably be one of those games like microtransaction to heck and back. Jom with a VIP 53 months. Lurking and driving up North Michigan. This PlayStation news definitely sucks, but for me, my physical collection's all retro. I mainly buy digital for PS5. Hopefully it's helped devs make us even better games. And then he drops a single to get us to 289. Thank you so much, Jom, for renewing your own membership and paying it forward. Guys, if you haven't done so already, everybody hit the like button right now. The turnout lately has just been fantastic. We thank you so much for supporting the live stream every day. If you lurk and listen every day, that supports me. If you hit the like button every day, that supports me. Sharing it with your friends, sharing the stream, sharing the channel. And then if you do go above and beyond, and you pick up a membership, you get into my Discord, and you get into the green room. So if you hit that join button, thank you for that as well. I mean, we're getting the PS6 in 2028. Yes, I think that's when we're getting the PlayStation 6. I have said for a long time, I think fourth quarter next year, 2027, fourth quarter next year is the handheld. I think it's going to really impress people and surprise people. I think the handheld's going to shock folks. They're going to be like, "Wow, this is a genuine piece of machinery here. This is good." I think it's going to help. I think it's going to help PlayStation get a better foothold in Japan. Also, the PlayStation 6 I do think production timelines and stuff probably start in 2027, but I think they're going to ship the PlayStation 6 Q4 of 2028. So, what's this thing on Twitter that they're talking about here with PlayStation? What is this? We have reached a point where people get anxiety when they see a tweet from the official PlayStation account in their Twitter timeline. It's kind of true. They're like, oh no, what are they going to say today? You know? I personally think they timed this knowing that a lot of bad news is coming as we roll over into the new fiscal period. We're now hearing that Obsidian is reportedly one of the studios in danger at Xbox. I think everything's hitting tomorrow afternoon before the end of the workday. I think the bloodbath happens tomorrow, and it's going to be bad for everything we're hearing. I mean, it literally sounds like every single studio is either getting shut down or downsized. The handheld will also skew the percentages of digital sales, right? Oh, I mean, it'll definitely, when you say skew, you mean like move more and more people to be buying digital, right? Like, because that's what it's going to be. You're just going to be downloading the games. Zubair says, right, PlayStation's a closed ecosystem. PC is open, even if there is one dominant player. If Steam goes evil, we could go to another store. If PlayStation goes evil, you are stuck. Moore's Law is Dead says that Sony devs weren't aware of this and found out from this announcement too. It sounds like a really recent decision due to costs that wasn't planned at all. They planned for discs. Well, there's a couple of things I'll say to that. Number one, I don't think the studios finding out means it was a recent decision. It could have just been a very, 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 very quiet decision. They didn't want people knowing this. This would have spread like wildfire. YouTube Lurker with 47 months gets us to 290. Can you explain the online life you lead when you're afraid PlayStation will finally catch and ban you? Oh, you're asking that to the people that are worried about like getting banned. Like, yeah, what are you doing that you're afraid PlayStation will like ban you? Right. I don't think that that's a concern. Like I said when they were saying that, I think the primary concern is that the account becomes compromised. Somebody somehow gets a hold of it and Wired Rope drops a 10 bomb and snags another one for Twitch. IO Twitch 2, I believe at this point. It's either 2 or 3. It is moving, boys. YouTube, you got to act faster on those things. You really do. You got to act quick, or you're gonna miss. That's another one for Team Purple, and Purple does have that 35% discount. So that's where you want to drop the big member bombs right now. I think it's going for another day or two. Right, there have been mistakes made in banning people. No AI is going to make a mistake and F a regular law-abiding Joe. It's not possible at all. I mean, yeah, if they start letting the AI handle it, then that certainly could be something that happens, you know. The situation is obviously one where we need assurances. Like, I thought there was a really good post. I think it was from Persona. Persona Speaks, I think is his name. I thought it was a really good post. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, I thought this was a really, really good and fair post. He said, if PlayStation is moving to an all-digital future, 3 things must happen before 2028. Number 1, explain how physical libraries carry forward. I think this is a total fair request. PlayStation should speak to this. Hey, you should be talking. This is surprising that PlayStation didn't do this in the announcement. You have an enormous and long-standing audience that has a huge physical library, and you just walked out and spit in their face and didn't explain it. Like, you didn't even explain what are they supposed to do with their physical library. This is a very, very fair response to say you need to explain how physical libraries are going to carry forward. Some of your most loyal, most long-standing customers are sitting here scratching their head, and you didn't say it. You didn't say a freaking thing. You didn't say a daggone thing about it. What am I supposed to do with my physical library? Now, I don't have one, but there are homies all the way back to PlayStation 1 that are probably thinking, wait a minute now. What am I doing with all my discs? Okay. Second thing, he says add game gifting. Yeah, I actually think that's a totally fair, request. Totally fair request here. Third thing, overhaul digital refunds. Yes. He's missing one. He says a digital future requires digital first consumer trust. Yeah, I would add number 4. Number 4 would be, redefine digital ownership, because it's currently defined very poorly. It's currently defined very poorly, because this is exactly right. A digital future requires digital consumer trust. And right now we don't have that. We don't have digital consumer trust. We have an understandable amount of mistrust. We do. We have an understandable amount of mistrust, because it's like, what in the world are you going to do? To act like bans need extreme actions to happen is insane. Sanctions can dictate it. What are you talking about? Sanctions? A $5 super chat from X Gamers. I was an advocate for blockchain digital games because it would allow complete ownership and transferability, but gamers didn't understand the tech. I mean, it's not that gamers didn't understand the tech. The NFT bros completely ruined any chance for blockchain tech to show up in a way for digital ownership of a game. I'm telling you, the Web3 NFT bros, dude, they were like a pyramid scheme mom on Facebook. I mean, it was bad. It felt so scam. It felt so stupid. They kept insisting that these stupid pictures were going to be worth money and their value would go up in perpetuity. If anybody is to blame for blockchain, which is completely good and legitimate technology, for blockchain to show up in that way, the NFT bros ruined it. They stigmatized the whole thing because they were insisting that these stupid monkey pictures were going to be worth money one day. And I tried to explain to them. I tried to explain that to them. It was like, you guys are literally hawking a pyramid scheme at this point. Russian players were banned when the war started. I don't know if there's any legitimacy to that claim. I would have to research that. I don't know if I'm gonna take your claim at face value. I just don't know. That I'm pressing X to doubt there. I'm pressing X to doubt. I don't think PlayStation just banned an entire region of PSNs. I feel like that's made up. If that actually happened, I feel like that would have been everywhere. I don't remember saying that. I'm sorry, I don't remember seeing that. They were cut off from banking services. Were they cut off from PSN or were they banned? Like, banning them? Like they literally went in and executed bans on that many accounts? Or did they block the service? Mr. Get That drops a 5 bomb on purple. Hey, Mr. Get That says, couple of questions. Do you believe that any of this is related in any way to the class action lawsuit they lost about overcharging on digital purchases? I don't think this is related to that at all. Number 2, does your Destiny situation make this PlayStation thing worse because you have the disc? Technically, you could create a new account and still play. If it was digital only, you'd have to buy it again. Not necessarily. No, I wouldn't have to buy it again because of the way the PlayStation works. I would just have to play it on the home PlayStation. Like Madam can play all of the games. Madam can play Destiny 2 just fine. Number 3, do you think Epic's lawsuit against Apple could help here to allow access to third-party stores on Sony's hardware? I think Sony's playing a dangerous game if they want to maintain their closed ecosystem. That's for sure. Because you definitely are going to wake some of these regulators up, and they're going to be like, "Now, hang on a minute. What are y'all doing over there?" And that's a very real possibility. They won't miss the opportunity of having whales double dip buying physical collector's editions. Remember when we were curious about the fact that Wolverine didn't get a collector's edition and we were curious about the fact that GTA 6 didn't get a collector's edition. Do you guys remember what I said? I said, I think it's because production costs are so high, shipping costs are so high, raw materials are ridiculously expensive now. That's probably why we're not getting a collector's edition Wolverine or plates, and that's why there's not a collector's edition GTA 6. I think those were the early rumblings of the real earthquake. We were like, wait, this seems kind of strange. Wolverine seems perfect for a collector's edition. GTA 6, it's like, wait, what? GTA 6 isn't going to do a collector's edition? They were probably going to have to charge such an exorbitant amount of money to make good profit margins on the stuff. They just decided to not do it. I think that was the earliest rumblings of like, oh yeah, physical's going away, boys. A $10 super chat from Jimmy Mack says, my biggest grievance with the end of physical games is that it was all by design. They took away everything that made physical releases fun and interesting to funnel us all to the online stores. I don't agree with you. I don't agree with you, Jimmy. I don't think this was some sort of like manipulative brainwash situation. I think consumers do what they always do. They took the path of least resistance. The minute people realized they didn't have to go to the store to get the game, now come on, y'all. You know, people did not have to be coerced into doing that. Nobody coerced me into doing that. I was like, wait, I can install the game right now? It'll be ready next week? I don't have to go anywhere? Oh, yeah, I'm doing that right now. Nobody had to convince me. Nobody. You also have to understand something. Anybody who's gaming on console, who also happens to have a Steam library, this was not an alarming thing to start doing. They were already doing it. They were already downloading games on their PC digital only, and when it started coming to console, they were like, oh yeah, I've done this before. This is pretty convenient and easy. $10 super chat from Street Shadow. I think Sony has gotten in front of multi-storefronts by saying they've gotten in front of this multi-storefronts by saying codes will be sold by retailers. GTA 6, not a Sony release, is doing that with the code in the box. You know what, Street Shadow? I do think that part of the blog, I want to amend my response here. I do think that part of the blog is about that one lawsuit. You're going to be able to buy digital versions in retailers. They said that in the blog. That's right. That's exactly right. I think they're pushing back on that because they were getting sued for that. They were like, oh, yeah, you're not letting people buy digital versions of games for your console at the store, and you should. That means you're trying to have a monopolistic form of control over this, over these games or what have you. Orc Lord with 16 months gets us to 306. I only stopped buying physical when the books inside the cases were legal warnings. My biggest thing I hate is when people try to compare this to the music industry moving to streaming. I think the largest argument here is the option of choice. I can still buy CDs, cassettes, 45s, DVDs, VHS tapes. Eliminating it altogether is crazy. Using the data they have, they could drop limited physical copies for collectors. That would open up an entirely new secondary market. And Mr. Ducks, thank you so much for the Prime resub on Twitch. I stopped buying physical because since I live on the West Coast, midnight releases turned into 9 p.m. releases for digital games. Yeah? Yeah. Like, nobody had to coerce the consumer into this. Listen, I think gaming conversations are heavily comprised with a lot of I'll call it unnecessary us versus them. It's just unnecessary. It's like not everything is an us versus them, and I think some people, that's like just the default way that they view gaming. It's us versus them. Screw these companies. And it's like, I've always said I just don't think that that's helpful. It's like, it's not an us versus them. A lot of these developers you want to support, and you want them doing well, and you want them making lots of money because they're going to keep making the game that you love. Some people talk like they love the game so much, but they hope the company dies. It's so it's so backwards and so boneheaded. It's like what you're actively cheering for the destruction or the lack of money for the thing that you claim you love. Like, I don't get it. Performative tribalism. A lot of it is performative tribalism. It's like, it's us versus them. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And it's like, it's not us versus them. It's never been us versus them. It's always been us with them. It's symbiotic. You got to figure out a way to make this work. You can't just be like, well, we'll just steal everything. What do you think's going to happen if everybody does that? You won't have any games to steal if everybody just starts doing that. Like, it's a good thing that most of us aren't as informed as the people out here that justify stealing. Laura Fryer says, that's a huge problem in gaming. The players and the devs were a team back in the days. Now they are enemies. Yeah, and I think a lot of it's propagated by grifters who make content and they mobilize people into thinking that it's us against the devs. And it's like, what? No, it's not us against the devs. It's us with the devs. We certainly don't want, like, C-suite executive decision-making from publishers and, like, money men making all the decisions, all the bean counters, because they're going to turn everything into, production line live service slop. But even they know that's not the right course of action to take because they'll start to lose money. You can't turn every game into Fortnite. They're all learning that lesson. The market's course correcting on that. They're learning that not every game can do that. They're losing money on it. Street Shadow with a $10 super chat says, one thing people don't realize is that a lot of optical drive producers are also reducing optical drive production, so there will be less drives. That's independent of gaming. Yeah, I got a text message yesterday about that, Street Shadow. Basically, like, PlayStation and Sony cannot maintain the Blu-ray market all on their own. Many people are doing this. Many companies are moving away from this. They're moving away from physical. They are. They're 100% saying this is the money's not there. The money isn't there. We're backing away from this. This is going in a direction that it's not sustainable. Again, it's an emergent property. The market itself is shifting, and something that's emerging from the shift of the consumer to digital is the companies are going to do the same thing. They are. It sucks for the people that were holding the line on physical. It does. It sucks for you. But this has been set into motion for a long time. Like, I've got a thing right here in front of me that Sony's been planning an all digital future for some time, and they're unlikely to reverse course on this decision. The quote here, if you'd hoped the backlash to Sony's boneheaded decision to cease manufacturing game discs in 2028 could be reversed, a new report coming out of Austria makes it incredibly unlikely. The write-up claims the company's facility in Thurgau, I don't know how to say that one, in Thurgau, has been preparing for this transition for some time. And while the good news is it won't result in layoffs, it sounds like PlayStation is very much committed to an all-digital future. Right, like, this is in motion. This is in motion. This is not stopping. It isn't, because the money they're saving and the production shifts they're going to make, that they are not going to walk this back. Everybody's facing the same reality right now. How do we get costs down? How do we avoid spending more money than we need to? A really great way to lower your operational costs right now is to stop doing anything that requires physical production of items. The all-digital people won't understand until the first game disappears from their library, and then it's too late. I think you're speaking to what a lot of the digital-only people are speaking to, though. You're being a little too sweeping. You're being a little too sweeping. I'm all digital, brother, and have been for a long time. And I'm one of the people out here saying we are not properly protected. When the Stop Killing Games initiative started getting traction, one of the first things I said was, I think they're asking for too much. I think they're going to sabotage their entire effort. I think most regulators are going to be like, you're asking for too much. It's going to get lobbied against by publishers. What I think is way more likely to get traction within regulation and governing bodies is digital refunds, We are not protected as consumers. We cannot refund something. If you can take the license away, I can give it back. The second part of this is we also do not have proper ownership of said digital items. If I buy a movie and you lose the license or get into a license dispute and you're the one that sold me the movie, that doesn't have anything to do with me. I shouldn't lose the movie. All the movies and music that Sony just deleted from people's profiles, that shouldn't be happening. It shouldn't. You losing the license doesn't have anything to do with that person spending that money. All those people should get their money back. They should. If you can take it back because you lost the license, then you should give the money back because you lost the license. It's as simple as that. We are 100% on the wrong side of this. We are on the wrong side of this as consumers. We are not properly protected. Shoddy, unfinished products can come to the market and we're just left holding them because it's digital. There was a really, really good line because a lot of people are talking about this. And I know many people have strong opinions about him. Asmongold wrote a big long tweet about this. And this sentence that he put, I think, really encapsulates what I'm getting at. The convenience of digital downloads should not be viewed as a forfeiture of consumer protections. That is a bullseye. That is an absolute bullseye. We should not be forfeiting consumer protections just because we're buying something digitally. That doesn't make any sense. If I have the choice to go buy the movie from the store or buy it digitally from Amazon, I shouldn't be forfeiting consumer protections just because I decided to buy the digital version. I think that sentence is an absolute bullseye. Yeah, why would I be forfeiting my consumer protections? Why? I'm still buying a product. Movie, album, video game. We're not properly protected. If there's anything good that comes from this move by PlayStation, it's that it's going to wake up the gigantic Leviathan-sized gaming world to be like, we aren't properly protected. We have some platforms that treat us better than others. Steam lets you refund within a certain amount of time. But even Steam, a lot of your library is going to have a license. And you're like, oh, you can use a DRM stripper and derber. The average consumer just shouldn't be needing to go to all those great lengths to protect their purchase. You shouldn't have to worry about that. The problem is consumers know they are not protected, and yet they still choose to be protected, to not be protected, and in many cases, people will advocate for it. Here's where I think you're going wrong, Hadigan. Here's where I think you're going wrong. I don't think a lot of consumers know they're not protected. This is where some of the people getting self-righteous about this, like, well, consumers just willingly gave up ownership for convenience. Number one, that's not true. We didn't give up ownership. We have an incomplete or an inferior form of ownership, but it's still ownership. Okay? It's not great, but it's not complete forfeiture of ownership. It's how Asmongold put it. It's a forfeiture of consumer protection. And most consumers have no idea that that's what they've done. They don't know that. And you know what's funny? You probably didn't either until someone told you, because you didn't read all the legalese and the TOS. You didn't go down in there with a fine-tooth comb and go, aha, you see, yes, I understand all these phrases and all these terms they're using, and apparently if I buy this, it's actually a revocable license that in perpetuity can be taken from me. You didn't know that either. Like, a lot of these people want to puff their chest out like they knew about this. Yeah, I highly doubt that. 99% of the people getting angry about this bought digital games and had no clue that they didn't really own the game. They were buying a license. You only know because someone told you. That's 99%. 99% had no idea that this was going on. Still accepted them? Of course we still accepted them. You wanted to play the game. You wanted to play the game. No one's saying they've not been accepted. What I'm saying is you can't walk out here and act like you knew. I bet you most of the people acting like that didn't know. They didn't know. They didn't freaking know. None of us knew until somebody told you. Thank you, Dean Bromley, with 19 months. Let's get it 308. Appreciate you so much. We must have had a bit of a blip there or something. I'm not sure what happened because the viewership went way up all of a sudden and now it's coming down. So there must have been a blip on YouTube's end. It wasn't on my end. So if you guys are having any kind of an issue, just refresh. Also, whenever that happens, it's really, really helpful if everybody hits the like button at the same time. So everybody right now, make sure that it has saved your like. Let's get 300 like milestone going. I love all the companies taking the absolute piss, too. Just absolutely. They're going to start selling digital pizzas and chicken now. KFC and Domino's are having a field day with this. Oh, wait. Jason Schreier has put the Obsidian thing to bed. This is encouraging news. He said, despite a report this morning, I can confirm that Obsidian is not in negotiations to avoid shutting down. Plenty of details are still up in the air surrounding the layoffs. The picture will be clear on Monday, but Xbox is keeping Obsidian, according to people familiar with the situation. $5 super chat from Street Shadow says, consumers have so much going on every day. They just want to play games and not think about the potential hypothetical loss of a game. And Haseo gifts one to get us to 309. And another one from Haseo gets us to 310. We're 15 away from the 325 where I'll owe you guys another member. And keep hitting that like button, boys. Don't stop. Wear that sucker out. Get us to 600 because YouTube had a bit of a problem there a second ago. You think that Sony will take a step back due to the outrage? No, they will not. No, they will not. No. This has been set in motion. This is too big of a train to turn around. The pipelines, the production, the warehouses, there's already reports coming out that months ago they were making preparations for this. And a 5-bomb comes in from Haseo. He's setting up the 10-bomb dunker to 325. Rissik's in there messing it up and throwing a monkey wrench into things. Somebody do the 10-bomb anyway. Screw you, Rissik. I'm just kidding. Rissik. Oh, man. You love to see it. You love to see it. The gifteds help as well when YouTube's acting crazy. Thank you guys so much for another really great day. I know we're not happy. I know things are dark right now, but it's good to have a community where we can come together and talk and just kind of hash all this out. I mean, we still have a great year of gaming coming. I mean, goodness gracious, if you missed the news, Onimusha is going to be earlier in September now. There's just so many games coming that games are either sliding or moving earlier. I think the outrage is a vocal minority in reality. Consumers have been moving more digital. Doesn't mean that we don't need protections, of course. Like, okay, let's just get real, okay? Let's get real, all right? People are pointing to this tweet and they're saying, oh, this blowback is just crazy. Nick is in here pretty much every day and he thinks, oh, they'll do a retraction in the morning. This is so bad. I've never seen it this bad, right? Dean Bromley gifts one and gets us to 317, right? Nick said that. Let's just look at the numbers here. 84 million views. I mean, that's just insane. Okay? 52,000 likes, 58,000 comments. Now, in the grand scheme of things, 84 million people saw it. Many of the people that saw this aren't even in this world. When a tweet goes that viral, a lot of people that saw this aren't even really gamers. They're just, oh, wow, look what PlayStation's doing, right? Lawyers, doctors, businessmen, finance guys that don't touch games, they saw this tweet, right? Dean Bromley with another one gets us to 318. So, 58,000 comments, okay? 58,000 comments from people that, a percentage of those are angry enough to say something. 55,000 are angry enough to say something. Now, there's a percentage of those that aren't even angry and they're not mad or whatever. Okay? So 50-something thousand people quote tweeted and said something, and 58,000 people replied and said something. Not 100% of those people are angry, by the way. Okay? But let's just, for the sake of discussion, say they're all furious. Okay? So there's 58,000 people that replied and are furious, and there's 55,000 people that quote tweeted and are furious. Let's just round that up, put it all together. 100,000 people are just fuming mad on Twitter about this. 100,000. In the grand scheme of the global gaming market and how many digital sales they make in a month, in a quarter, and in a given year, these 100,000 angry people are nothing. I hate to tell you that. I hate to be the one to say it. They're nothing. You're nothing in the grand scheme of things. Millions upon millions of gamers and sales and PlayStations in circulation, and like 100,000 people are screaming on Twitter. I'm sorry. Nothing will come of that. They're not going to walk it back. And a 5-bomb comes in from Haseo to get us a 323. I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer, but that's just that's a drop in the bucket. 160 bits from Wired Rope. Tyranny of the minority isn't going to fly this time. It's not. Nothing's coming from this. So is David, but he effed Goliath up. Yeah, but as David told that uncircumcised Philistine, you come at me with sword and spear and shield. He didn't go out there in that power, brother. Like, you know what I'm saying? You better be careful now. David and Goliath. That story's not about, well, the little guy can take on the big guy. There's a lot more going on there, you know. Google typology. All right, Haseo with a single and another single secures the 325. You have to understand something. Like, that's not what that story's about. I mean, I know we've all been to like a church service or a Sunday school where they were like, you know, what are the giants that you need to slay in your life? And it's this moralism garbage. That's not what that story's about, okay? Yeah, be like David, you know, be brave and slay giants. In the grand scheme of the global gaming market, I'm always saying this. The anger, the brigading, the mobilization on Twitter, and when people are like downvoting stuff, you know what I mean? It isn't. You're nothing. You're nothing. Do you want to know what speaks louder than this dadgum tweet? Money. Money. 1 nickel dropping into the bottom of a metal bucket and clanging around rings louder than the screaming voices of 1,000 angry people. Money. Way louder in this equation. And the money's talking. And it's saying digital. Digital. Now, let's say all 100,000 of these angry people on Twitter boycott. Again, nothing in the grand scheme of things. That's nothing. That's nothing. Now, 84 million people viewed it, and you could say, well, that's an awful lot of people that saw it and could be angry and could boycott. I got news for you. The sales ratios of games says otherwise. The sales ratios of games says otherwise. I'm sorry. You will not see mobilization here that will make them reverse course. This guy says, stop sucking Sony's blank. I know you can only view the world through fellatio because it's something you probably dream about happening to you, but that's not what I'm doing. I've said that this is a huge L. I've said that this is bad for people with physical libraries. I've said that PlayStation needs to speak to how does somebody maintain access to their physical library. I'm merely explaining to people why they won't reverse course, because money talks. Again, that's something you probably don't understand as you type on your mom's iPad. Like, money talks. Money is what made this decision. This decision was made because of money. I'm not defending it. I know that's hard. I know that's hard for the two brain-celled tribalistic caveman mentality. I know that's so hard to compute that, like, he's defending it. No, I'm explaining to you why they won't reverse course. You know? Like, you're like, ugh, ugh, either fanboy or not fanboy, ugh, ugh. And, like, you don't have the ability to see beyond that. But I've not once defended this. I haven't. I'm merely giving people the cold, hard truth of the matter. They're not going to reverse course on this. Money is louder than 100,000 angry voices on Twitter. It is. Money's louder in this conversation, and it always will be. It always will be. Mouse One says, I'm glad someone said it. Xbox is so bad that PlayStation will do whatever they want, and no one will be able to make them change their minds. There is a clip rolling around of a guy talking to Grub, and I'm not familiar with the person, so I'm not throwing shade by not knowing who they are, but I don't know who he is, but he's talking to Jeff Grubb. And he basically is saying that, you know, PlayStation's able to do this because they don't have any competition. And people are angry. People are angry, and they're saying that he's blaming Xbox. And I think that's a real intentional misread of what he's saying. Right? The misread of what the man's saying. Like, I watched the clip, and I didn't get the impression that he was saying, this is all Xbox's fault. He was literally saying, this is not what we wanted. We didn't want one major player who could do whatever they wanted. Nobody wanted this. Which is a complete pushback against the notion of people that were like, oh, you want Xbox to die, Xbox tax, whatever. It's like, no, none of us wanted this. Now, I don't personally think that if Xbox had 80 million consoles in circulation right now and were just, you know, in lockstep competition, you know, blow by blow with PlayStation, if that was happening right now, I still think Sony was going to do this. I don't think competition from Xbox would have changed the digital future because the trends would have still been the trends. AOZ says it's really easy to save physical media. Just make a monetary contingent petition that raises close to a few $1 billion for Sony, and I'm sure they will keep physical next gen. Even if he was correct, it's not Xbox's job to be PlayStation's competition. That's not what he was saying. I think people immediately misread these types of statements and try to make them say things they're not saying. He wasn't saying it's your job. He was saying, as a gamer, nobody wanted this. Nobody wanted a world where, like, Xbox was basically walking away, you know, like a loser, and then PlayStation just gets to stand here and be like, we're the only game in town. I told people that for years, like, you just want Xbox to die. I'm like, no, I don't. No, I don't. I remember when Jez Corden got mad at Phil Spencer saying, you know, we're not going to out-console Sony with an 11 to 10 out of Starfield. And Jez is like, you're not even going to try? He's like, you're not even going to try? There was a clip of him on a podcast saying that. And I agreed with him. I was like, yes, fight, try, compete. You know, they thought competing was seeing how much money they could spend, and now they're competing with how many studios they can close down. None of us wanted this. That's what he's saying. He's saying nobody wanted it to whittle down to one major player who could be like, well, we're the kings now, so you got to come to us for everything, and we're going to go digital only, and we're going to do this, that, and the third. He wasn't blaming Xbox and saying, yep, this is all Xbox's fault. The other thing that was interesting is people were upset that people were covering the Xbox news as well. And it's like, so what are they supposed to do? Write one article every day and only one article so that your little Xbox fifis don't get hurt? Like, yes, they all broke the story in the morning, and then guess what happened later on? Other outlets were like, hey, we're hearing Xbox is going to do the same thing. So then they run with that story. They do like 10 articles a day, some of these outfits. They weren't going to do one. to make sure that, like, you got a break from the bad news about Xbox. This would have still happened even if Xbox was the lead platform. That's what I'm saying. Like, I understood what he was saying. The problem with what he was saying wasn't that he was blaming Xbox, right? Everybody wets the bed when their favorite brand gets like a negative clip about them. That's not what he was saying. The problem with what he was saying is it wouldn't have changed anything. It wouldn't have changed anything. Xbox could be the king right now with 120 million Xboxes in circulation. It wouldn't have changed anything. The culture, the consumers, the money has moved toward digital. This was coming no matter what. This was coming no matter what. It has nothing to do with Xbox. That was the problem with the clip. Everybody took umbrage with the wrong thing. It was like, he's not blaming Xbox. He's imagining a world where better competition would have kept this from happening, which is I don't agree. I think it's a horrible diagnosis. I don't think he's correct at all. That is a horrible diagnosis of what has happened here. It's like, more competition wouldn't have changed anything. It wouldn't have. The consumer backed digital. They did the same thing to Blockbuster. They were like, they turned their back on a fixture. That was a fixture of the culture. My first job was at Hollywood Video. Video rental stores was a fixture of American culture. You never even had to drive far to get to one. A Hollywood Video, a little mom and pop shop. We had one close to our house called Tip Top Video growing up. Blockbuster. The consumers turned their back on that. Why? It was more convenient to stream. More competition wouldn't have saved vinyl or cassette tapes. That's right. When people move to the new medium because it's easier, cheaper, smaller, more convenient, whatever, you can't stop that. You can't. We've talked about this all the time. The consumer will take the path of least resistance. The consumer is like water. You can only slightly direct where they go. You can't stop where they're going and get them to go somewhere else. It's almost impossible. It happens in, I've talked about this in looter shooters. There's two ways to control how the players play. You can do incentivization or you can do prohibitive things. And when you go the prohibitive way, they're going to find ways around it. They're like water. They will find the path of least resistance. They'll find the cracks in the surface, and they will exploit, and they will cheat, or they will do whatever. They will. That's what the consumer will always do. It's animalistic. It's baked into our nature. It's baked into our nature. It's literally it's a form of survival instinct is what it is. Taking the path of least resistance is baked into the instinct of taking the safe route. It is. It's literally baked into how we survive. You can't. You're not going to condition people out of behaving this way. You're not. Destiny 2 is now permanently disabling gear it can't patch. Yeah, I kind of warned folks that was probably going to be the future of that game. Was either something just insanely broken forever, or they'll just disable stuff. Not with that attitude. What's good? Ginger's in here on the Gaming Roundtable account. The consumers are at fault for wanting to buy a used version of a game for half the price from GameStop, and publishers realizing they're losing money because they make no money on the resale. And it's why, with the Xbox 360 or the Xbox One, they initially announced they were going to charge customers if they sold their games. Yeah, I don't agree with that take in the least bit. There's not a part of that I agree with, not even remotely. Blaming consumers for enjoying the fruits of a secondhand market is not why we are here. That is not why we are here. We are here because consumers have always and will always take the path of least resistance. It has nothing to do with people using a secondhand market. That's not why this is a thing. You guys doing stream streaks over there on Twitch, I'm sorry I don't shout these out. They drift by. Wreck and Havoc, if you're still here, 115 stream streak is crazy. A 15 stream streak for and Zypher, and then a 3 stream streak for Zach. Thank you very much. 115 stream streak that's just wild. That's absolutely wild. You're here, yeah, dude. That's crazy that you're watching that many. Man, somebody get this. This guy's coming in here and having to see freaking ads. You know what I'm saying? Somebody take care of this man over here. You guys having to come in and see ads every day, 115 days in a row. My Ginger Prime channel got hacked. I haven't figured out why. I'm waiting for YouTube to restore it. I got everything 2-factor ETC, so we'll wait and see what happens. Alex got him. There we go. And that adds to the total, 326. You won't see ads now. You won't see ads now, Wreck and Havoc. Yeah, official news. Yeah, Domino's is going to start selling digital pizzas. Have you seen or experienced what it's like to get games physically now? People are weird and annoying. I'm not dealing with all that. I'll just stay at home and download it. Now the corpos are using our sloth and desire for convenience against us. Oh, now they're doing that? Now? They just started? You wouldn't think. I mean, guys, up until now, I don't think big corporations have used our vanity, sloth, lust, hunger, need for comfort, and desire for comfort. They haven't used that against us, have they? I don't think so. Nah. This is not new, man. I mean, yeah, gluttony. The 7 deadly sins are baked into almost every single marketing plan. Gluttony, sloth, greed, lust. It's all there, boys. Like, Emberville is getting a playable demo at Universal Studios this month for GCX. So if you guys are a fan of Emberville, I started reading that before I realized it was attached to GCX. Support Emberville. I wouldn't support anything those other guys are doing. Heavy physical disc guy here. This would have happened even if Xbox was competitive. If anything, it would have been accelerated to this result. To me, it would have been like the cell phone companies, Dylan. Yeah, Emberville is Co's game, yeah. That's awesome. Co said a demo might be too expensive. Yeah, demos are tough because they literally have to spend time like slicing out a version of the game so that people can play it. Dallas with 3 months. Thank you so much. This was on its way for a while. I don't agree with it, although I pretty much always bought digital since PS4. Right, like what Dylan just said about like if Xbox was in lockstep competition with PlayStation with the console and lots of sales and everything else, we still would have arrived here. It would have been a lot like the cell phone companies. The cell phone companies are like, toe to toe with each other. All their plans are the same. Price on the phones are the same. Like, yes, this likely would have gone the same way. It would have been like, yeah, I mean, what do you mean? We're all going digital. You guys, and their response would have been pretty basic. Xbox, PlayStation, whoever. Then I'm like, you guys aren't buying physical as much anymore. Every year it's less and less and less. The trajectory is one of decline. So it's going away. I think people should be focused more on trying to get better protections. Zarathan, how are you? Thanks for being here. You stopped by the other on November. You haven't chatted since November, but you stopped by in November, and you said, "Take care of yourself, especially Lono." Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Hopefully you're well. COVID made it faster. Oh, for sure. The pandemic escalated all of this. People are like, I can get what at my house? You know what I mean? I'll probably buy the new Control physical because of this news. I went digital because I was tired of having stacks of games. Also, midnight launch is convenient, especially with preloading, for sure. Yo, it's good, Ghost in the Garage Gaming. Lona, you and I are old enough to remember the uproar over cassette tapes, vinyl, CDs, VHS, Blu-ray. It's the times we live in. Oh, for sure. I remember switching from a Sony Walkman to a Sony Discman. And guess what? I didn't have anything. All my cassettes were just sitting there. They were just sitting there. I was like, oh. And I slowly had to start getting CDs. And now all those CDs, they don't mean anything to me. They're worthless. That Sony Discman is an impressive piece of technology, by the way. I got it when I was, I don't know, probably 15, so like 30 years ago. That sucker still works. You just put batteries in it. The only thing that doesn't work is the headphone jack. The line-out jack works. My daughter thought it was so cool, she insisted on using it, and she took it on a trip. And after 20 minutes, not even maybe, she was like, I don't want this. I was like, why? She's like, it keeps skipping. It keeps pausing, like the slightest bump. I mean, the slightest bump. It was kind of cute. I was like, yeah, girl, that's my time. Now you're talking about my days as a kid. Yeah, it kind of stinks, doesn't it? Anti-skip changed the game. It really did. It really did. They just had to put like a tiny little memory chip in there, right? Because didn't it like basically pre-read the disc? You're a young-looking 45. Thank you. I'm not losing the fight because I want gray, but I'm getting the gray's coming in, boys. I'm getting the streaks. I love it. A $10 super chat from Wes Stewart says, I buy physical games, but the discs are somewhat an illusion. I own Bloodborne 1.0 on the disc, which is not the version I actually played. Streaming is a big part of it too, says Gone Kid. Full-time streamers need the new games day one. The time waiting on games is literally taking money out of their pockets. Oh, for sure. It was a big deal being able to jump into games immediately. Yeah. It was a big deal. I remember that. That was like a game changer. Being able to be like, oh, you're in? Oh, you're playing right now? Oh my gosh. Like, I remember people being excited when they would realize that, like, oh, I can watch a streamer play it like this instant. And if you got in to the servers of like a live service game or something, that could be a career defining day for you. You could meet a bunch of new people. I mean, there were times where I got in. There were times where I got in on server days and stuff, like big launch days in Destiny. And that was great. It really was. It meant that I was, one of the few people that could actually cover it and show you, the new content. My first CD was Pearl Jam. My first CD was Third Eye Blind, the self-titled album, the one with the red cover. Semi-Charmed Life was the big hit from that track. I don't mind digital as long as a digital copy can be stored in my physical storage devices. Show us the new orbit locations. That's right. Yeah, I think the two primary concerns here, right? This is it. First one I ever heard. Yeah, that's an amazing album. That is like the iconic Pearl Jam album. Even though. So the two things we should be fighting for, one leads to the other logically, is better ownership. We don't have the right kind of ownership. We have ownership, just not the right kind. Secondly, attached to this, once that is locked in and in better state, we need to be arguing for digital refunds across all platforms. Within a certain amount of time, I should be able to refund. I think these are two reasonable things. I think they're logically connected, and I think we should fight for them. I think we're going to the wrong people, the wrong source with our angst and our consternation and our anger or whatever. This guy says Xbox, they're still releasing physical media. The whole backwards compatibility also runs physical. I don't think this guy on Twitter understands that their push to let you turn your physical library into a digital library is, hold on to your hats, that's turning you into a digitally only consumer. Like, there are people that are really, really thinking they're cooking in my comments and on Twitter. They think they're cooking. They're like, no, you know what you're talking about. Xbox is going to let you turn your discs into digital. Okay, I want you to read that slowly, and I want you to think about what you just said. It's great that they're doing that. I applaud it if it happens. It's a real thin rumor right now, by the way. Real thin rumor. We don't even know if it's going to happen. We know they're looking into it. But they're still turning you into a digital-only consumer. After you do that, that's it. You're digital only. The disc is still usable after. That would be huge. Where, though? Jakob, think down the line. Think 15 years from now. Is the disc still usable if everything has gone digital, including your library? That's their goal with this. I applaud their efforts. If they do it, I'm full support of that. And I would love for PlayStation to speak to the people with a physical library. How on earth do we maintain your ability to play those games? Is it a drive? Is it some disc to digital in your old system? Yes, if your old system still works and the drive hasn't gone bad. The motors go bad in these things, homie. In 15 years, you could literally have a bunch of discs and nothing to play them in. That's the entire point that people are frustrated by. It's like, well, this means you're going to stop making the disk drives, which means you better pray your disk drives never stop working. That's the point. And then if they get you to turn your discs into a digital collection, they've turned you into a digital consumer. It's good that they gave you the ability to maintain that library, but the library becomes a digital library at that point. They aren't built to last. They're built to be cheap and good enough to last a few years. Better than the alternative. We're all headed to the same town, and it's the digital town. That's the point I'm making. We're all roads are going there. We're all going there. We're all driving to the same destination. Digital only. Again, what we would hope that the companies do the due diligence that allow us to maintain access to those games. Hadigan, I swear to frick, these AI images that you do, this is truly terrible. This is an offense. This is offensive. This should not exist. Do. It's a semi-charmed kind of life. Why do I have a mullet, by the way? In the words of Burnt Peanut, ban that mother... I'm just kidding. But yeah, why did it give me a mullet? I look a little bit like Nick Cage in that one movie. GTA 3 constantly read the disc in the load areas so much that they had to optimize the code to stop the game from crashing the console to the point that they were worried that it might cause mass PlayStation 2 failures. Thanks for the info about this. I understood it briefly, but now I have a clearer picture. You are welcome. What's that windshield tech that they're using? Yeah, I'm like through the windshield. The windshield is around me in that picture. Why don't you have a mullet is the question. You know, Jakob, there are times where you say things and I'm like, this guy's nuts. I don't really understand him, but that's probably the best question you've asked today. Maybe in your life. You know, why don't you have a mullet, Lono? Nick Cage and Con Air. Yeah, it kind of looks like Nick Cage and Con Air when he steps out and the wind's blowing in his face. Gone in 60 Seconds movie. Lono when Nick Cage was stealing cars. 1999 movie. Oh, I know the movie. They're going down the ramp in the parking garage, and Bullet Tooth Tony is driving the car. His name's not Bullet Tooth Tony in that, but then the "Y'all gonna make me lose my mind's" playing. That movie is wild, bro. Angelina Jolie has is that the one where she has? Is she like blonde, almost like dreads, or is that the other one? Is that Girl Interrupted? I can't remember. Some of those old movies, man. Gone in 60 Seconds, dude. Lowrider, Donnie. Play Lowrider. Lowrider, Donnie. Is that his name? Is it Donnie? Play Lowrider. Oh my gosh. Blonde dreads. Yeah, her hair's a little wild in that, isn't it? Gone in 60 Seconds. Angelina Jolie. What's going on here? Yeah, what are we doing here? What's going on here, boys? It was a look, I'll tell you that. Call me crazy, but I think she's the hottest in that movie. Really? You haven't seen Hackers, apparently. Nothing like a chill late summer breakfast with Reforge Gaming in the background. Yo, it's good, Nitro. Was it good? Digital always should have been a means to preserve these games. Yeah, I was saying that the other day. And then yesterday I kind of referenced it again. That digital isn't the devil. Like, digital could be a really good road to preservation, and I've referenced the fact that I'm able to watch really, really old television. So my wife and I started last night. We've got to a point where we finished one of the seasons in Alfred Hitchcock, and we're like, let's take a break. Let's take a break from Alfred Hitchcock. Let's watch something else. So last night we watched Fact or Fiction, the one that's eventually hosted by number one from Star Trek. What's that guy's name? It's eventually hosted by him. And I think the first season it's hosted by, I forget the guy's name, but we watched that last night. And I did pretty good. I guessed, because you're supposed to guess at the end what stories are true and which are not. And I did pretty good. But we're able to watch these old shows because they've been digitally preserved. Now, obviously, I'm paying for a subscription so that I can, watch them where they are. So I don't own them, and I'm okay with that, right? I'm okay with that. I'm not bothered by that because of the medium and because of the content and what it is. It's like I'm not attempting to own, the Twilight Zone. Although I would like to own all of the original Twilight Zone. Charles Hawk with a $5 super chat. Bro, I'm old enough to remember my aunts and uncles complaining about the cassette tape replacing 8-track. Yep, it was totally a thing. Yeah, Jonathan Frakes is his name. Yeah, eventually it's hosted by Jonathan Frakes. I don't think he hosts the first season though. Yeah, Riker. Otherwise known as number one. So there is an element there that okay, cool. We can preserve things digitally. We need to do it in a way where the consumer doesn't get screwed over. It would be great right now if I could. You wanna own all of Twilight Zone, Nick. Clean out your ears. Although, Team Alice. I mean, if you're interested, that's the only team you should be on when you watch Twilight is Team Alice. Ashley Greene. Come on, boys. Anyways, if right now I could have a digital library of Coleco games, that would be great. I would absolutely love that. I would buy it right now. If you charged me, let's say $200 for some kind of device that I plug into my television HDMI, and it's the entirety of the Coleco library. And this is on the up and up, not like those little cheapo ones they sell at the the kiosk in the mall where the guy's like, Nintendo, and you're like, that's not a Nintendo, right? I mean like real, like a real, actual, digitally preserved collection of Coleco games. That would be fabulous. I would love that, especially if all I have to do is make sure I keep this thing, you know, and obviously it could break in the future, sure, but at least I would have it, and then in the future, maybe, you know, if I have to buy another one or what have you. That's already a thing. Where can I get a collection of all the Coleco games on a single device? Where is this thing that you're that I could buy? I've seen like the hokey little derpy ones that have like Atari games and stuff. And again, I don't know if those things are on the up and up. I think you're buying some kind of like aftermarket thing that somebody made, and which obviously would be a great way to have the games. But the guy at the kiosk in the mall, yeah, Zubair, your cousin. They're always asking to put lotion on your hands or sell you an aftermarket Nintendo that has all the Nintendo games on it. You know what I mean? He said, wow, you know I'm right. I mean, am I wrong? What, are you going to cancel me? I'm right. I'm not wrong. Is that racist? I don't think so. He's only mad because it's literally probably true. He probably has a cousin that's working one of those kiosks. He's like, hey, now wait a minute. You leave my cousin out of this. He's a nice man. The issue is that these digital products will live on proprietary hardware. It makes digital preservation extremely difficult when manufacturers don't allow you to freely access. Yeah, I mean, you'd want them to be somewhere like downloadable. You know what I mean? Twilight movies got more play than any system ever. Yeah. ColecoVision was your first console? It was technically my first console as well. I mean, it was my dad's, but we all played it, and then eventually we got the original Nintendo. Used to love Venture and Looping. Looping is freaking hard. I played Looping the last time I was in Ohio, and oh my golly, it is hard. Those games were crazy. It also is not great because the joystick doesn't work all that well. So you'll go to pull down to make a move and it won't work. You'll have to like do it. You'll like do it a second time and then you're dead because it's like you literally missed the turn. Analog makes great retro consoles. I have all of them. I would actually love if there's a legitimate thing I could buy from like Amazon or something that literally is like all the Coleco games and you just plug it in HDMI. I would actually like to have that because I could take that home and then my dad, my brothers, and I could all reminisce about those Coleco games we used to play, and we wouldn't have to use my poor dad's old Coleco that, like, you got to, like, jiggle the cable to even get it to look good on the television. You know? Miss a turn, just loop around, easy. Sir, if you miss the turn, you crash. Like, you've not played looping. You're probably too young for that, Nick. You young blood in here talking about looping. You don't know nothing about that, I bet. Atari ET was the worst game ever. To be so bad, to then be desired, right? You know what I mean? I think some of you guys are holding out hope that that'll happen, you know, for you. But for ET to be to be so bad. You're 41? Oh, you're old enough then to have probably played a Coleco. Yeah, I don't have a lot on you. I've only got a couple of years on you. You can go to their official website and buy one. Check out ColecoVision Flashback on Steam. It might have some of the games that you played. ColecoVision Flashback. So for me, I don't want it on Steam. I want something I could take somewhere, like a console. That's what I would like. What is downloading and updating right now? Oh, Slay the Spire 2 is. Let's see here. Coleco only with one L? I thought it was with two L's. ColecoVision Flashback. Yeah, it is just 1L. It's got mixed reviews, 42% for $20. How many games does it come with? 40. I see Zach's on. It doesn't have good reviews, though. My kids were loving it. They were loving it. My daughter really, really liked... Oh, this one comes with Frenzy. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. Such a good game. Do-do-do-do-do-do. The music was so good back then. I saw a video... It was getting some traction on TikTok. It was a girl trying to play Mega Man music on a piano, and she was having a tough time. It was pretty intense. I bought a converter to play my PS1 and PS2 on my new TV. Yeah, I mean the dilemma with digital preservation also is what kind of a device are we going to have in the future? What are TVs going to look like as well, right? Like you're like, oh, I've got a working this or a working that, but like you would hope that the peripherals don't completely change, because if they do, then you're going to be in bad shape, because you're like, well, what am I supposed to plug this into? ColecoVision Flashback. On eBay. What the frick is that? Is that official again, or is that some aftermarket thing? That looks pretty good. That looks pretty legitimate. 61 built-in games. My sister got an NES and a Super NES, brand new, about 10 years ago. It took a minute to find a tube TV to play Duck Hunt. Yeah, my dad had to get an adapter for the Coleco. Yeah. And the port on the back is bad. The port on the back is bad. So... maybe a Lenovo gaming laptop, easy to plug in and go for newbies to PC. PC is the best place for preservation thanks to emulation. Yeah, but see, that's not what I'm talking about. I don't want the consumer isn't going to do all that. So like you're doing preservation for yourself, and that's great. And you know you're going the extra route to do all that. But I want something to be like official and for the consumer, whether it's a commitment from PlayStation or you know something else. Like emulation is not a mass market consumer option. It's just like they're not gonna do it. All those extra steps. There needs to be something else. It's great that people can do that, and I know there's people out there that are doing that to preserve their library or whatever. But it's like that's not what I have in mind here. No idea. $89.99. That's on eBay though. That's on eBay. ColecoVision Flashback game console. I wonder. I mean, again, is there anything like that on? Yeah, the ColecoVision Flashback sells on Amazon, probably from another person. 60 built-in games, not 61. And they got it on here for $200. There's like Ataris on here too. Legends Flashback. They have actual old Intellivisions on here. Old ColecoVisions on here. That's insane. I didn't even know that was a thing that you could go find. Yeah. Yeah, the ColecoVision Flashback though is $200. It doesn't have a good score on Amazon. It's got a 3.8, so it might have problems. A $20 super chat from Air Uniform says, I've been playing an indie deck builder gacha game called Mormons. If you like Slay the Spire, you'll really like this game. Talking about preservation, this game will go offline but remain playable once it's finished. Thank you for the super chat, and thank you guys for all the likes. Try to get me to 400 likes. There's a lot of you here. We've had a great day, and we're not done. We're still talking and hanging out. Make sure your memberships are active as well, your primes, your renewals. and what have you. That does support me and it helps me do this thing. And you get access to the Discord. I'm playing God of War 2018 again. I gotta say, statues of Thor really don't capture his true essence. No, it doesn't. Mormons is actually solid. I'm waiting to either get a Steam machine or if the Helix actually comes to market, which I don't know if it will. But I would like something like that to have some of those games in my living room. Slay the Spire 2, Mugenics, which I haven't touched, which I'd like to try that game out. Deep Rock Galactic Survivor and Witchfire and games like that. So like if you know, a lot of people are hearing me say like I don't think the Helix is going to come to the market. I'm not hoping that that's true. I'm not trying to be like a Debbie Downer or like a jerk or something. Like I'm not hoping that that happens. I actually hope that it does in fact come to the market, and it's because I would use it. You know. GJX is using the Sophie Cunningham gif of her pointing. You and Sony planned this. They did. They did. Gone Kid says, told you them things is trash. What things are trash, Gone Kid? What are you saying is trash? I believe that 85 to 90% is BS. They've probably been counting a ton of DLC sales, microtransactions, and content. You simply can't buy physical to artificially boost the numbers to justify this all-digital move. I don't think they have to justify it to us, brother. They don't have to justify it to us. They internally looked at their own numbers. You understand that, right? Like, they're not trying to pull one over on us. They're literally responding to their own financials. It's not like they're trying to fudge the numbers to trick the public. They don't have to justify anything since it's their platform. They can do what they want. Well, on the one hand, yes, they can do whatever the heck they want. It's their platform. But on the other hand, the part that you're forgetting is they don't gain anything by lying. Like, if they're fudging the numbers and they're lying, that's not good for them. That would mean that they're literally self-sabotaging themselves. And I don't think that's the case. There are people that think that this is self-sabotage, this is going to backfire, and they're dead, and they're cooked, and everything else. And I'm like, no. Wouldn't shareholders have something to say? That's what I'm saying. They don't have anything to gain by lying and being like, we sell more digital, so we're going to shut down entire pipelines of physical production. That's a big deal. Yeah, Nova, I saw the Domino's joke. That's a big deal for them to make this move. You don't get to this decision with fudged numbers. You don't get to this decision with fudged numbers, brothers, because you're talking about absolute catastrophic financial loss if they fudge the numbers to justify this. Like what? Like somebody in turn is like, I really don't like physical. Corpos lie all the time. It's literally their job. Well, now you're just speaking in platitudes. You're not even pushing back on what I'm saying. Imagine what you're saying. You're saying that they fudge the numbers to financially hurt themselves. Like, walk that out for me. Walk through this logically. Why would they do it? Walk through all the logical steps of why they would fudge the numbers to themselves to justify going digital. Like, what? This isn't like that scene where it's going to benefit them to punch themselves in the face like in Fight Club. That's literally what they would be doing. They'd be looking in the mirror and being like, digital is the way. Here's the fake numbers to convince myself to do this. Literally everything they do is about greed. Why are we even talking? What are we even talking about? Grady with 35 months gets us to 328. I don't like this shift to digital just because we don't have consumer protections to protect us from poor business practices. What'd that guy say? Thanks to the all-digital game lovers coming with fake outrage now. What a joke. I mean, I'm not doing fake outrage. I don't like people losing choice. That's bad for the consumer. I also don't like people having a physical library that could potentially be something they can do nothing with in the future. I don't like that. I'm not even sitting here saying let's go burn them down and take them down and let's boycott them. I have been saying that what we need to do is fight for digital ownership, digital ownership protections, as well as the ability to refund games. That's what I've been saying, is if this is where we're going, then that needs to be put into place. Gamers are still going to want a game. Got a Browns. Love you all. The most important thing in life is to have fun. Peace. Peace. See you later, Phil. God forbid a company wants to make money. That's what I mean. Like, they're motivated by greed. They're not going to do a decision that makes them that makes them financially, like, weakened. Voluntary. Like, they're not going to fudge numbers so that they can then make less money. That math doesn't math. Let's fudge the numbers to ourselves to justify to ourselves making less money. That doesn't even make any sense. Can I get a recap of today's main points? I mean, not really. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, Nitro. I mean, PlayStation's going digital only, and really reliable sources are saying that Xbox is going to do the same thing. And it's largely because the consumers have gone digital only in their purchases. What does digital ownership look like to you? Digital ownership looks like a digital version of a physical form of ownership. It's mine. I don't, like, yes, I still need to be able to download it, right? I still need to be able to download it. You just followed me this minute to come in and say, F Elon Musk. Why are you even here? What you follow me? Your account's not brand new, so you're not like some brand new account troll. Why are you in my chat? Been listening for the past hour or so. Okay. What does that have to do with the conversation? I'm confused. That felt like a bot. It was like all of a sudden you followed and that was the first thing you said. Sony may see 500 gig, 1 terabyte discs may not happen in time or cheaply, and then the numbers for digital downloads are high enough to go all in for the PS6. How we get to Elon? Yeah, I don't understand. I don't know why he brought him up. I'm always leery of someone who like just barges in the room and the first thing they say is like, blank this person over here, and I'm like, huh? They're eliminating the second market. To be clear, they don't owe us a second market, and they owe nothing to the secondary market. Like, let's just be clear about that. I don't like it, but we have to be clear on these things. They don't owe anything to the secondary market. Could be Tourette's. Well, I mean, he's not even explained it. I don't, you know what I mean? He's not even explained why he said what he said. I like this idea, and just want to hear your thoughts, by the way, not trying to rile up chat. Oh, what'd you say, Castillo? Castillo, I'm sorry. So would the data live on a drive the consumer owns, and would that drive be like a storage standard similar to how Type-C is a mandated port? Well, okay. So it obviously has to attach itself to an account at some level. There has to be some level of an account here, right? Where, like, your account owns the game, which then means you need to be able to download it in the future. Does that make sense? Like, if I own Ghost of Tsushima, and in 10 years, I want to boot up whatever PlayStation exists at that point in time, when that happens, I need to be able to download it from a server somewhere on a device that can play it. Does that make sense? So, like, the ownership needs to be attached to me and my account. Now, the dilemma here comes into not necessarily whether or not I still have a working drive, because drives are going to break down. The hardware is going to break down. I don't anticipate my PlayStation 5 Pro working in 20 years. I just don't. That's not an expectation that I have of the device. It's not an expectation that I have. I don't think that makes me weird or like a sucker or something. That's just generally what I expect out of technology. Okay, so what that means is then I am reliant on two things. I'm reliant on, well, three things. I need to be able to maintain access to the account, and I also need to have a PlayStation, and then they need to have it on a server so I can download it. Those things all have to be in place. Those things all have to be in place. So I think the concern and the worry would be, obviously, okay, let's say we get legislation that passes and I own Ghost of Tsushima in perpetuity. It's not a revocable license. We establish good concrete laws around digital ownership. They could still disappear as a company. Something catastrophic could happen, and in 20 years, PlayStation's not around anymore, and the servers go dark. The game's gone. Do you see? Now, I think that's unlikely, but it's not impossible. It's improbable, but it's not impossible. It's very improbable that these entire companies just vanish into thin air. But it certainly is within the realm of possibility, even if it's a low possibility. Good morning, Derek. Yo, Chrono, thank you for the raid. So, like, if all those things have to be maintained, even if we get good legislation, and we get good digital ownership laws passed and stuff like that, that doesn't necessarily mean that I am automatically good. Like, I'll always be able to play Ghost of Tsushima. You just need to trust that PlayStation will always maintain a server and nothing ever happens to your account. Right now, you could have your account banned or lost for whatever reason and you would lose everything. Yeah, the same thing could happen with, you could have an entire hard drive with all of your games backed up, free of DRM, and that drive could fail, or there's a fire or a flood or something. Even everything that you've done to maintain your own computer or your digital collection of video games, you could still lose that too if something catastrophic happened. Like, if we're going to entertain the notion that something catastrophic happens and PlayStation is no more and their servers are all gone and I can't download Ghost of Tsushima in 10 years to play it, the same thing could happen to your PC game collection. Do you see? Like, I think it's fair to say we're speaking about things where there have to be base level assumptions. Base level assumptions being like, going forward, as long as certain elements are maintained, I'm going to continue to have all of my stuff. I've lost a bunch of pictures because a drive failed. I had a bunch of pictures, and they're gone because a drive failed. It just happens. I have old computers that had stuff on them where computer failed, gone. All my stuff's on there is gone. Now, obviously, if it's attached to an account, I could log into Steam and I can download all my stuff. Same thing. You hope nothing catastrophic happens so that in 20 years, Steam is still cooking and all my stuff's right there attached to my account. again, you have to have base level assumptions about some of these aspects of reality to even attempt to maintain this collection or this library that you have. Consumer Derek says, we're going to be perpetually having this Mustuffs Mamedias for two reasons. Number one, they want us paying rent and subscription fees for everything, and that will not stop. And number two, consumers imagine they can own art and access it indefinitely. Even a book is going to rot. People will go on and on about how I bought every season of Friends on DVD, so haha, I own it and can watch it. Nobody is actually playing DVDs. They're lying to themselves. Well, there are people that still play DVDs. I mean, we've got a Blu-ray player, and we still use it, and we still watch stuff on DVDs. The kids get stuff from the library all of the time. The question and the concern would be, if you have a DVD collection, will you be able to hand that down to your grandchildren, and will they have a device that can interface with it, that can play it? 50 years from now. You know, I double dog dare anyone to actually hook up a DVD player to their modern TV and tell me they're going to watch anything that way. I mean, there are people here that do. We know people here that do. There are people in this community that still watch Blu-rays. I mean, you're saying DVD, but same principle, right? I mean, it's a disc player. And Blu-rays will play those DVDs. I have the collector's edition of all the seasons of Lost. I still have it. I don't use it. It's just easier to watch it digital if we're going to rewatch the seasons, but I have it if I wanted to. No, because optical discs start failing after 20 years, and the players probably sooner. Right. Oh, you're saying DVD, not Blu-ray. Right. Yeah, those DVD collections are basically cooked after so many years. This is also true. And another similar issue and similar problem with gaming in general is that you're dealing with a physical collection, and if Blu-ray drives are no longer available in 50 years, that physical collection is worthless, because you're going to have a harder and harder time being like, oh, here, I'm going to bequeath all of my Blu-ray PlayStation games to my grandchildren. What are they going to do with them? Put them on a shelf as a relic? Because in 50 years, I think that you'd be hard pressed to find a working drive. I think they're just going to get phased out, and then any of the ones that you've kept or maintained, they will they'll break down. The gears go bad, the motor goes bad, the laser goes bad. I mean, this is just a fact of life. Only guarantee in life is death, morbid but true. Y'all are completely missing what I'm saying. Yes, you have a bookshelf of VHS tapes and DVDs. You do not play those. I just think you're going too far. I know for a fact there are people that still use their DVDs and play them. I myself have done it. We have old DVD Christmas movies that we have used because we prefer those over the digital versions. We literally do it every year. There are people in this community that do it. They do it. They right now do it. They've talked about it. I have the classic Christmas collection and it only comes on DVD. Yeah, the classic Christmas favorites. Yeah, that collection. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can watch those digitally. I've watched all of those. So your use case is a Christmas movie once a year. That's kind of my point. Well, I don't know your point. I'm having a hard time. Like, if you're trying to indict people's opinion by claiming that they don't actually do it. I don't think that's what we need to do. I think we need to say you're clinging to something that is going to fade with time. Like, we don't need to basically be like, well, your opinion's invalid because I know for a fact you're not playing those DVDs. And it's like, they might be. That's not the indictment of the position. The position is fading with time as well as the discs themselves. That's the issue, is that none of this stuff lasts forever. Nothing gold can stay. So it's like, cassette tapes, VHS, all that stuff's gone now. And there's good and there's bad that comes from this. I continue to reference the fact that I was able to watch all of the original Twilight Zone episodes. I'm thrilled I was able to consume the prolific genius of Rod Serling. I think it really changed my view of what I want to watch and TV shows that I like. I really enjoyed it. I wouldn't have been able to do that if it wasn't preserved digitally. It would have been an insurmountable task for me to try to find physical versions of all of those episodes. We're talking about like 7 seasons, 40 episodes a season or something like that. It was absurd. It was absurd. Same thing with, that might have been Hitchcock Presents. Hitchcock Presents was an absurd amount of content. Twilight Zone was a little bit less, I think. But still, it would have been an insurmountable task for me to try to find those physical. I put Life of Brian on for my older kids last weekend. It was DVD, played like trash on the PS5, but played. I hate playing any discs. I hate playing them on the PlayStation or the Xbox. I hate it. It like caps the volume or something weird. Like you can't turn them up enough. It's like they're quiet. It's terrible. I love my vinyls, but they never get spun, and water and heat will eventually ruin them unless I enjoy them, in which case using them will eventually ruin them. Yeah, I mean, I would be the first to say that there are an awful lot of people talking about this that are probably at some level the position's philosophically bankrupt, because all media that we attempt to own wears down with time, and the thing they're railing against is literally the thing that can preserve it, digitizing it. Like, we're railing against this. People are railing against this. Like, I'm not defending it, and I'm not saying it's good, but like I've said many times this week, digital's not the devil. It's literally the means of preserving a lot of this stuff. All of my cassettes are gone. My VHS tapes, my CDs, they're all gone from when I was a kid. Even if I had them, what would I do with them? They wear out, they break, they don't work. They die to time just like I do. So, again, I think the thing that we should be fighting for is better protection for digital ownership, because then we're able to preserve our collection in some way. Again, presuming and assuming, and then dependent upon the server still being there and a future PlayStation actually existing. Same thing with PC, right? If you're trying to maintain your digital library of video games, you're hoping that the company you're interacting with doesn't go away. Even if you rip the DRM out of all of them and back them up on a hard drive, you're hoping that the hard drive or the computers never fail. Obviously, you probably have multiple backups if you're really, really hyper concerned about this. Stone Spire's going to gift a member. He's going to gift another one. Stone Spire's going to try and tempt somebody to drop the first 20 bomb of the day to get us to 350. I'll owe a member. If you're going to do big bombs like 20 bombs and 10 bombs, there is still a 35% discount on Twitch. I know some of you guys support on both places. It's going to be a lot cheaper for you today and I believe tomorrow on Twitch. Thank you. There it is, Stone Spire. Joker Quinn the Ruiner right on top of him. He ruins it. What about the way housing market in Eastern countries is managed, since you can get a 99-year lease that has to be renewed? Could that be a good solution? I don't want this to be a lease or a license that needs to be renewed. I want to buy it and own it. We should be fighting for ownership, digital ownership. Yes, it is dependent upon servers, future hardware, all that, right? It's all dependent on that. Rissick comes in with one as well and gets us to 332. Big Dog's coming in. When Joker Quinn ruins it, you guys should ruin his ruin. Come on. Freehold, please. Mighty Keith says, I make videos on YouTube. Prove it. Prove it, Keith. I'd love to have him on the show. It's impossible to DM people. He's a mutual, and I don't even think he's seen the DM. A renewal comes in from JDG. Thanks so much for renewing your Member Plus. Igor says, return to favor, chat. Somebody says not vinyls. Why are you saying not vinyls? What are you saying that in response to? Once all the data centers have enough capacity, I believe all digital media will be streamed. We'll be talking about digital downloads are dead. Well, you're going to have to completely change infrastructure and advance it to the point that you can play remotely without any issue. You see what I'm saying? I hope Lona brings a petition to Congress as a citizen and presents it eloquently. Yeah, I'm not your hero in this fight. I don't have the time for any of that. Am I excited for Black Flag? I am. I am not your hero in this. You would need a motivated and ambitious single person, a single man or a single woman to take up this charge. I don't have time for that. I don't freaking have time for that. I barely have time to provide to do all this to provide for my family. I have a wife and 2 kids, dude. Last thing I have time for is to pack it up and go to Congress and try to get some kind of a bill passed. You know what I mean? You need these young and hungry, young blood single dudes to take care of it. That's not me. You know? Can't be your hero in this fight. Black Flag was your favorite game ever? Next week it starts. Next week, the beginning rumblings of that locomotive, that train's going to start next week. So it'll pick up speed. And every week, more and more is coming out. It starts next week. Games Nosh says, I'm talking to people. Sony is currently being inundated with emails and messages behind the scenes from smaller publishers and devs voicing their displeasure over the end of physical games. I'm actually kind of shocked just how much internal backlash there has been to this. Yeah. And I tell you what they're going to do. They're going to give them the old Asha Sharma treatment. They're going to say, "Hear you." That's what PlayStation's going to say. PlayStation's gonna give them the old Asha Sharma treatment. We can't believe you're doing this. This is terrible. And they're gonna be like, hear you. We hear you. I don't think they're putting this genie back in the bottle, boys. I just don't think so. Sorry. D-Tom with 58 months takes us to 334. Thanks for everything you do. What's the lineup for the next couple of weeks? Well, next week, I believe next week we get a bit of a double. Do we get a double whammy next week? I think we do. July 7th is the Doom the Dark Ages DLC, which I'm very excited about. And then 2 days later is Assassin's Creed Black Flag. So a bit of a double whammy next week. Also, the Grand Blue Fantasy Relink stuff is happening next week. I think it's some DLC, I believe. Pal World 1.0 is July the 10th. Jay White with 49 months. Thank you, sir. Getting us a little bit closer to the goal. Sneaky Wolf with the $5 super chat. First cartridge, then disc, now Digi is the next step in the distant future, cloud only. A lot of people have said cloud only. I don't think the infrastructure is there. I don't know if it will ever be there. But you need advancements in the technology because fiber's fine, but fiber's not good enough for this. You need advancements in the technology and the infrastructure. If you get bad routing, you're going to have a bad experience. Your internet can be ridiculously fast, but if you're not routed well to the server stack, you're going to have a terrible experience. So Pal World 1.0 is also next week. So Doom the Dark Ages DLC, AC Black Flag, and then Pow World. On the 14th, that Hell Clock game that I really like. It's like a top-down. I think it's like a twin stick Rogue. I feel like it's a twin stick Rogue, isn't it? Or is it an ARPG? Yo, Rissick gifts a member. Thank you, Rissick. Hell Clock is currently on sale on Steam. It's got a good score, 83%. Roguelike, hack and slash, action RPG. Yeah. That one comes to consoles on July the 14th. Dench Attack, the one that's like, it's that one with the bus. It's like Jet Grind Radio and Hi-Fi Rush, and I'm stalling because I always forget the name of that one. Insomnia. Sunset Overdrive. It's like Sunset Overdrive with a bus. That comes out on July 15th. Moss the Forgotten Relic is on the 16th. That's all July. There's something late July. Splatoon Raiders is July 23rd. Forever Skies comes to Xbox. Then, July 28th is Halo. Chrono, thanks for using your Prime and getting us a 337. And then Castillo comes in with a super chat, a $10 super chat. Very generous. I think there's a fundamental misunderstanding of what digital means. The data on your disc is digital. The issue is not owning the medium the data lives on. I mean, I get the distinction that you're making, but for communication purposes, I don't think we're making mistakes here. Like, communication just needs terminology and understanding. Like, if I'm using this term and I'm being like, yeah, everything's going digital, and you're going to be like, well, actually, it's digital on the disc. It's what, like, you know what we're communicating, right? That clarification doesn't change or elevate the conversation. I get what you're saying, but it's you're right there on the line of being pedantic. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, bro. You know what I'm saying. July 30th is Xenoblade Chronicles 2. What is this one? City of Wolves. What the frick is this top-down game? Kusan City of Wolves is a top-down shooter set in the bloody poor city of Asia. Hang on a minute. I've not seen this one. This one looks kind of cool. Kusan City of Wolves comes out July 30th. Hardcore top-down shooter. Looks kind of cool. Looks like you play as a cat. Single player. Not interested. I thought I was going to have, like, co-op. It wouldn't be a game I'd play by myself. Sorry. Let's see. Now, when we get to August, it keeps heating up. It keeps heating up, boys. August the 4th is Beast of Reincarnation and Gunstoppable. That game is coming to Steam only, I believe. Marvel Tokone Fighting Souls is August the 6th. Lies of P is coming to Switch 2 if you feel like punching yourself in the nuts. Playing Lies of P on a Switch 2, you're just asking for pain. Grounded 2 comes to PlayStation 5 on August the 11th. August 13th is Dusk Fade, along with Hell Let Loose Vietnam. Oh, and Wild Blue. Wild Blue Skies is like a Star Fox love letter to Star Fox players. That one, Wild Blue Skies, is set for August the 13th. DLC for Mafia The Old Country comes out on August the 14th. Let's see here. August 27th is Resonance, A Plague Tale Story, as well as Star Wars Zero Company. I'm telling you, every week something's going on. Elden Ring comes to the Switch 2 on the 28th of August. Again, if you just feel like going through pure misery. Dawnwalker is September the 3rd. As well as that Orbitals game, the split-screen anime Orbitals game, the co-op game coming to Switch 2. Onimusha just backed up its release date. It's now September the 4th. September the 10th is Screenbound, the one where you control the game while looking at a Game Boy. It looks really, really creative and fun. September the 15th is Wolverine. September the 18th is Lego Batman on Switch 2 for those of you that were waiting for that one. Dune Awakening comes to consoles on September the 22nd. September the 24th is Control Resonant and Silent Hill Townfall. September the 28th, you can play Ace Combat Early Access. Minecraft Dungeons is September the 29th. It's getting crazy, boys. It's getting absolutely crazy. October, Rayman Legends Untold on the 1st of October. Ace Combat 8 officially launches on October the 2nd. Gears of War E-Day, October the 6th. Star Wars Galactic Racer, October the 6th. The Hellraiser game Revival comes out October the 8th. Dragon's Dogma 2 DLC, October the 9th. Valor Mortis, October the 13th. Castlevania Belmont's Curse, October the 15th. Final Fantasy Resonance, October 22nd. Modern Warfare 4, October 23rd. Phantom Blade Zero, October the 29th. No Rest for the Wicked 1.0 to consoles is sometime in October. I feel like it's the 22nd. And then a little game called Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out on November the 19th. And it all breaks loose! Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is anticipated in December. We're cooked, boys. Our schedules, our wallets. Any of you that are trying to start a relationship and date right now, you're freaking cooked, bro. You know? I thought we were taking things to the next level. I'm talking about leveling in games, babe. You're cooked. You're absolutely cooked. GTA 6 is going to break up a lot of new relationships, you know what I'm saying? You've been dating for a couple of weeks, you know? It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough out here. I thought the first half had more games. There were a lot of games I didn't even read. Right? There were a lot of games I did not even read. There's just too many. I read like the big ones. You know what I mean? There were a lot of smaller, lesser known titles that are still people are anticipating and wishlisting. It's just an absurd amount of games. Always date a gamer or a watcher. That's when you invite them to play with you. Well, GTA Online's not going to be there at launch, so you're just going to have to get 2 consoles, brother. Maybe it's a good thing I got dumped last month. It's a blessing in disguise. You know? It's a blessing in disguise, brother. Just more game time, baby. Just more game time, baby. Oh, man. Where are we on the like count? How are we doing over here? Yeah, get us to 400 likes, y'all. We're really close. We're at 380. It's called Residence: A Plague Tale Legacy, not Story. Oh, sorry. It was like small on my screen. I thought it was a Plague Tale story. That's right. It's, yeah. Residence: A Plague Tale Legacy. Now you can spend money on games. That's right. That's right. Black Ops 1 and 2 this month. Just wondering when. Wasn't there a rumor that some others were getting ported or whatever? Did anyone see the post on Twitter yesterday that a girl signed a form to let her husband play GTA 6 for 10 days without her telling him to do any chores? Yes, I saw that. You don't need a contract, brother. Like, come on. You don't need a contract, dude. Meeting time at work. Hope it goes quickly. BRB. All right, Chrono. Cheaper to be single. Easy clap. That's right. What's good, Gamer Chat Podcast? How are you? You miss arcades? I kind of thought that there would be an opportunity. You forgot Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave on September the 17th. Yeah, like I said, I didn't even read all the names. I thought there was going to be an opportunity for like new business ventures like that. Like you were going to see places open that would like, you would come in and be able to like have like games and tournaments, things like that, you know, like come in and like play on consoles and stuff. Apparently Orbitals, who's grabbing one of these on September the 3rd, they're going to have the full game on the disc. Would love Review X as well. Yeah, Orbitals, that Switch game, is apparently the full game is going to be on the disc. Genki is reporting on Twitter. They must have replied to somebody asking about it because they asked 2 hours ago who was going to be picking up the game on September the 3rd. So I do miss arcades. I was hoping the arcade bars were going to get bigger, but they popped up and disappeared. There's still some barcades. Yeah, I mean, you're probably always going to run into like just like stuff gets broken or people don't really care. Or have you spoken about Metroid yet? We don't know much, right? It's just like a listed. Is it just a listed trademark? I think it's just a listed trademark. Do we even know if and when it's coming out? Do we even know what kind of game it's going to be? Barcades were huge then COVID. Yeah, I think we had a couple here. There's one in Ohio, I think, that we went to that... No, yeah, in Ohio. It had, like, pinball machines everywhere. Like, it was charming, but it was also kind of a dump. It was like, this is a great place to bring your kids, ... kind of. Like, you know what I mean? It was like, this place is kind of a dump. And I felt bad. It wasn't in a great part of town, and it had a charm to it. It was like, oh, all these old pinball machines and stuff. But it also was kind of like, you ever go bowling, and you get into the bowling alley, and it's in a part of town that you're kind of like, about. And then you get inside, and you're like, yeah, this place is kind of dumpy. Like, just not maintained, kind of dirty, kind of smells like mildew. You know, it's hard for places like that to do well. I've never been to one that wasn't a pain in the butt to get to. Right, they probably have to go where property's cheap. And then that's going to be a problem, right? Your location's not going to be great. And then it's going to attract, you know, a demographic that might make families not want to come there. You know what I mean? If you're like, oh, it's a little rough in here, you know. It's always tough whenever you're trying to launch a business like that, and you got to go where the property value's cheap. We have an F1 arcade in London. The places around here that are successful, that are arcades, are like Dave & Buster's. And they're actually not bad, but like 50% of the games are stupid trash play for ticket games, which kids love it. Like, they love the idea and the concept. And we've gone, and I've found a couple that I'm good at, and we can get a lot of tickets, and we can, you know, get some fun prizes. But then it's like, we're not even playing video games. And to my kids' credit, they're like, it's more fun to play these games to try to get tickets to get a toy. I have video games at home. That's literally their reasoning. They're like, I can play Fortnite at home. I can play Mario at home. Why would I come here to play these video games? I have 1,000 games at home I could play. So, gambling simulator. Yeah, that's essentially what it is. You know? And it is fun. I mean, the games to get the tickets and stuff are usually fun, especially the ones where, like, you can kind of get good at it and kind of, you know, master it, and you can, you know, get a cool little toy. I mean, they've gotten some pretty cool toys from Dave & Buster's. They have. They have gotten some pretty cool toys. Chuck E. Cheese enters the chat. Chuck E. Cheese was a mixture of fun, but also kind of terrifying. Like the automaton like robot things, or the animatronic robots that will like sing and stuff. They were, I don't know, they were kind of scary. My 10-year-old daughter and I love playing the VR Godzilla game at Dave & Buster's. I don't let my kids play the VR games because I don't want them putting stuff on their face. You know what I mean? I don't know. We're a little hesitant to do stuff like that, especially with an allergy in the house. You just never know. Here's a release map of Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resync featuring all the global timing. That's Charles entertaining cheese to you. The text is so freaking small on this image. What the frick? I have to get out a magnifying glass. Look at this. Who made this? Is this a release map for ants? Like oh, there we go. Look how much information is contained here. That PC, UB Connect, Steam, Epic, 7/9, 10 a.m. EDT, GeForce Now, Black Nut, 7/9, 10 a.m. EDT. I am not even gonna ask all right, I'm gonna ask. What's Black Nut, y'all? What's going on here? What is this platform? I've never heard of it. I can't see that. I'm old AF. That's what I'm saying. Consoles are at midnight. All right. So you can play it at 10 in the morning on these platforms. You can play it at midnight on consoles. So, depends on the context. I just want to know why you would name your platform that. Like you're making folks go out here and search for Black Nut. You know what I'm saying? Like who knows what they're going to find in the process. Like do you ever think that like Dick's Sporting Goods didn't think about what the internet was going to do to them? Like when you go to search for them? You know what I'm saying? Like did they know? Like did they look into the future and think like, do you guys think that maybe we shouldn't call our store Dick's? They're like, nah, it's fine. What's the worst that could happen? What else does it mean, Lono? Explain. I'll explain it to you when you're older. You come back when you're old enough to have this conversation, Jesse, and be like, can you tell me now what Black Nut means? Yeah, and then I'll tell you then. Anyways, so Christopher Dring, Black Nut is a cloud gaming experience. Okay. All right. Okay. We now know. As much as I hate what's going on at Xbox, Chris String says, I do think the company needs to focus on where it can win. I think that's the right call. I also think it needs to move fast. Yeah, Dring is basically saying part of what I would say when I'm like, yeah, ain't no reason to do Helix, y'all. Dick's or BJ's. We have them all, and there's a Dick's and a BJ's right beside each other. And I mean, I don't know how nobody saw that and thought, wait a minute, like, I mean, literally right next to each other. Search is not entering plot porn directly in your eyes after you enter one term. Okay, first and foremost, I am joking. The whole point of the joke is just to laugh, right? Not actually analyze the efficacy of just going and searching for dicks, right? Like, you know that. Also, it sounds like you're speaking from experience, Derek. You're like, actually, Lono, if you want to see dicks, you have to go to greater lengths than that. You know, I feel like maybe you're speaking from experience. You're like, believe me, I've tried. You know, I'd love to be able to excuse it and be like, baby, I was just looking for Dick's Sporting Goods, you know? And you're like, believe me, I tried that trick. It doesn't work. Both of those searches are literally safe, but yes, they're funny names on the big signs, I guess. Well, they are. I mean, they're literally right next to each other. It's genuinely funny. I checked. You can search Dick safely. If you want more fun stuff, you have to add. Again, just out here self-reporting on Maine. Right, Trill? Homie just self-reporting on Maine. You have to go to greater lengths. Pause. But with Chris Dring saying, you know, Xbox needs to focus on where they can win, I agree with him. You're not going to win in hardware. You're not. That ship has sailed. That's why I think they should just say, that's why, again, I think Helix is under threat. I really, really do. He says, I do like the portfolio business where you've got a bunch of interesting AA-ish developers producing risky, unique, but still quality games. Some will do well, some won't, and that's okay as long as you get hit pile, as long as the hit pile outweighs the miss pile. But I also think it's not necessarily something the big companies need to do. We've got an emerging mid-tier of game publishers where these projects and studios can fit, but that aside of the industry is still developing. Given the rising cost to make hardware, as we've recently seen leaks about the PS6 cost going up, how likely is the Helix with respect to Xbox choosing lanes it can win in? Given the rising cost to make hardware, as we've recently seen leaks about the PS6 cost going up, how likely is the Helix with respect to Xbox choosing lanes it can win? How likely is the Helix to release with respect to Xbox choosing lanes it can win in? Like, I agree with Dring. I'm genuinely curious what he thinks. Like, I think Helix is right there. Is right there on the table. Like, yeah, they potentially pull all the way out and don't do it because it's just too expensive. It's if we're worried about PlayStation having to charge, you know, $700, $800, or $900 or more for the PlayStation 6, then what's Xbox going to be deciding? I don't think they're going to be deciding, oh yeah, let's go ahead and let's go forward and then let's just charge more. I feel like Xbox would go in the other direction. I feel like it would go in the other direction. I feel like they would say, let's just not even do this. It's just too expensive. Xbox needs to go the Sega route, get out of hardware, and trim the portfolio. Yeah, I'm just going to keep coming back to the same basic logic of if you're willing to cancel projects that are in production, if you are willing to shut down studios that are working on projects that are in production, that's what we're hearing. We're hearing that they're considering that. I think Helix is right up there on the table as well. $700 we're talking $1,000 next console no matter what. I don't agree with that. I think people are jumping to conclusions, and I think they need to stop doing that. I don't know how they haven't learned that listening to the same people that have constantly said stuff that hasn't rung true are the ones saying that. I think they're jumping to conclusions. There's so many levers and dials and avenues and things that PlayStation can act on to help not sell a console for $1,000. Like, they're They're willing to sell it at a loss, not a significant loss. One of the main drivers of that dialogue is liars that are saying, oh, PlayStation said they're not going to sell the PlayStation 6 at a loss. They're lying. They're misquoting them. So, false in one thing, false in everything, right? If you're going to go out here and you're going to run this narrative and the premise of your narrative is misquoting Sony, it's like, I'm not going to take your prediction very serious. And secondly, again, it's coming from a lot of the same people that made a bunch of predictions about exclusives, that made a bunch of predictions about the ABK deal. Like, I don't think I'd listen to these people. They talked about teraflops and running circles around the PlayStation. All their hardware predictions, exclusive predictions, and industry predictions are in a dump heap. So it's like, I wouldn't be listening to people that are like, the next PlayStation's definitely over $1,000. It's like, when you're talking to somebody who has a batting average that's in the negatives, like, I wouldn't listen to them. I wouldn't. If that would be, essentially they would set up the PlayStation 6 to not sell. It would essentially be more costly because it would sit on shelves and it would sit in warehouses. The demand for the product would be so quickly diminished. Your early adopters would pass through your stock, and then you'd just be sitting on them. You'd be absolutely sitting on them. And that's more costly. Because now you're just taking up inventory space, warehouse space, shelving space, and it's just, and then they're not moving. PS3 all over again. So I just don't think so. I don't think they go. I personally think if they go above 800, it would be really, really shocking. Their entire goal, everything we've heard prior to now, their entire goal with PlayStation 6 was to keep the cost down. They wanted it to be less expensive. They were not trying to go big, die size and big size and, oh yeah, we're going to sell the thing. It's going to be really expensive. They were trying to go the other direction. So their ability to order at scale and sell at a loss, I think, gives them some movement that people are ignoring. They're looking at the Steam machine, which they publicly are on record saying, Valve's like, we're not going to subsidize. We're not going to subsidize. So they're looking at that, and they're trying to draw a calculus about the PlayStation 6, and it's like, it's not applicable. It's a completely different structure within business desire and business capabilities. Dante says, you realize that Sony's in second place in regards to console sales, right? Nintendo games sell at least 8 to 10 million on average. Yeah, Nintendo is king. And I think that PlayStation views them as competition. In particular, they view them as competition in the Japanese market, which I think is one of the goals of the handheld. Is when you hear Hideaki Nishino talk about reestablishing and revitalizing their footprint in the Japanese market, that's what he's talking about. That's what he's talking about. He's talking about the handheld. He's talking about competing with Nintendo. You think they'll take 160 loss per console plus labor costs on top of that to hit the 800 mark? I think they're probably trying to figure that out right now. I don't think they want to charge more than 800. This is a decision that they know is not as simple as like, what's the cost to make it? We're only willing to lose this much. All right, I guess it's $1,000, because they know what that does to demand, which in turn then leads to other losses. So it's not like, think of it from this perspective. You're looking at the pure production cost versus retail loss. There are other losses. If that thing's sitting on a shelf for $1,000, there are other losses calculated in that. It's just sitting there not selling, which means there's so much loss there. You're not just losing on the fact that it's sitting there not selling. You're losing on the fact that you're not getting what's called lifetime value customers. The customer's lifetime value is once they're in your ecosystem, how much money they're spending. They're tracking MAU, monthly active users, and they're tracking customer lifetime value. They want you to be in their ecosystem spending money. That's where they earn. So again, it's not as simple as like, here's the per unit cost of the PlayStation 6, and here's retail. We're only willing to lose this much. I think there's other levers they can pull in the background to subsidize. Whether it's greater margins on accessories, raising PS Plus prices. I don't think they want to raise the price of games. That works against customer lifetime value, because you would then have people buying less games annually. You got to be careful with that one. You don't want people like turning their nose up to your games, you know, being like, oh, games are too expensive now. Like if everybody starts going 80, you know, the diminishment in sales. One of the reasons that this generation is the most profitable is because they are charging more for the games. So they're generating more revenue, even if the quantity of sales takes a hit. That's another thing I think people ignored when that one chart came out where they were like, oh, PlayStation first party sales are selling less than they used to. Number one, everybody's games are selling less than they used to because we're coming out of that pandemic surge. But people are also ignoring that the first party games selling in the past were selling for $60 instead of $70, and that extra $10 actually adds a lot to the revenue. We're excited to introduce the next version of Elgato Studio, bringing an entirely new software experience for the prompter. Voice Sync 2.0, new and improved script editor, new script mode imagined. I'm going to get this. I don't use that. I'm going to save that for later. Check my last. Without the option to buy cheaper from third parties, it could help Sony profit more and better subsidize the next console. Maybe that's why the push is so quick for the company. I think one of the things they're doing here, with the digital push is literally to keep the PS6 price down. That's literally part of what they're doing. It's going to be less expensive to make. It'll be lighter, less expensive to ship. And then it's also, if you're saving money within the budget, if you're saving money on shipping games, printing games, housing games, that again is another aspect of them navigating the landscape moving forward. They're trying to adopt and adapt. So everybody's like, this is greed. This is terrible. I can't believe they're doing this. And it's like, there's a lot of stuff coming that we're probably not going to be too thrilled about. And a lot of it is linked to everything's getting more and more expensive, and they're trying to keep that from becoming too painful for them as well as too painful for us. Give me 1 second. I need a quick break, all right? We've been going for 3 hours, but we're going to keep going, but I need a quick break. 187 says 1200 to 1500 PS6. Nah. The people making those predictions, you're all from the same side of the aisle. You're all doing it. I don't even feel like you're making the predictions in good faith. I think you're just baiting at this point. All the bleed green homies. It's all the bleed green homies. Yeah, and then it keeps going up. It's going to be 900, then it was going to be 1,000. Now it's 12 to 1,500. They're gonna how do you say his last name? Balogan or Balogan? However you say his name. The guy that got red carded or whatever, he could face an extended suspension. They're going to review if the challenge warrants more than an automatic one-match ban. It's such a joke. Calling it a tackle is generous. They're trying to sabotage US. Yeah. That ref was freaking terrible. It literally felt like the US was playing against him more than the team. Putting a dash in his name doesn't give me the phonetical pronunciation. Balogun. He was literally just putting his foot down. Yeah, calling it a tackle is garbage. It wasn't a tackle. It wasn't like he came in from the side, saw the guy, and like rolled his ankle. He's looking away and he puts his foot down. It's like a red card for that stupid. It's so stupid. Like, I get the slowdown made it look really, really bad, but the guy got up and was fine, and it wasn't a tackle. They collided. He's looking away from him and he puts his foot down. I'm like, this is stupid. You can't argue intention and you can't argue awareness. It was an accident. Players collide all the time. The severity of the injury doesn't red card. Why do you follow Holland? I think there was a Euro Cup back in 2008. It might have been. I forget what year it was. I worked at AT&T and I was watching the Euro Cup, and Holland just looked really, really impressive. I think they were against Germany or somebody. And ever since then, I've been like, I want to cheer for this team. They're fun to watch. That's literally when it happened. I unfortunately don't live a life where I can watch a lot of like the normal club play, like in just the games that happen throughout the year. Like, I can't really do it. It's really difficult as an American because of the schedules and the time difference, but it's also just like it takes up a lot of time. It's really easy to watch the World Cup. I just open up Peacock and click on the game, and it's Telemundo, but I don't freaking care. I like the Spanish speaking announcers. A blind interaction. It's a yellow. Accidents aren't excuses, but you can't recap a blind interaction. Right, you red card a blind interaction. He didn't see he was putting his foot down on his ankle. He's looking the other way. He's putting his foot down. He literally has to put his foot down. It's like, what's he going to do? Teeter and fall? Your literal body's just going to do that for balance. You're just going to put your foot down, and he puts it on his ankle by mistake. And it's like, that's not a red card. I'm not following the World Cup. From what I can tell from the discourse, every country thinks they're being sabotaged. All red cards get reviewed if additional suspension is warranted, just part of the process. Oh, it's just part of the normal process. Okay. A yellow would have been more than fair. Yeah, a yellow would have been more than fair. 100%. Yeah, give him a yellow. Hey. You got to be careful out there. You can't be colliding on people and stepping on people, right? But You take him out at that point. I literally tweeted, like, look at what it did to the momentum of the game. Look at what it did to the momentum of the game. They put the card right here. It's like, it's all US, and then red card, and then look what it did to the game. Like, that's why a bad call like that, like, you should really weigh the impact of what you're doing. You are fundamentally changing the game because of an accidental, unaware step that the guy took. He didn't slide into him recklessly. He didn't aggressively attack him, push him, shove him. They collided and he put his foot down. That's it. Yellow card, and then move on. You change the entire fabric of the game with that call, which then affects the next game because the homie can't play. What's the penalty for a red card? You're ejected from the game and you can't play in the next one. Do they do that in club play as well? At tournament level, you're out for the next game. It's usually for very, like, flagrant, intentional. Like, the one guy got carded in the game that I watched, and it was clear as day. He swung his hand into the guy's face. I mean, he literally was like, they were like tussling, and he, smacked him right in the face. And it's like, you're out of here. That's 100% red. Get out. This was total incidental, like accidental. It wasn't intentional. He was, and calling it a tackle is an abuse of the word. He didn't tackle him. They collided and he put his foot down. That's it. There's layoffs at IO Interactive. I'm not seeing that yet. We can beat Belgium. It's going to be really tough to beat Belgium without, like, arguably one of, if not our best player. I don't think we play shorthanded. He just can't play. We don't have to play Belgium down a man. We had to play the rest of the game down a man. But I don't think when we go against Belgium, do we play down a man? I don't think we have to play down a man. I just don't think he can play. Yeah, we'll have 11 men on the field. We had to play with 10 for the rest of that game. I believe that's the rule, right? You get carded and you can't be replaced in the game that it happens, right? Messi's foul was more flagrant. Yeah, I've seen more flagrant fouls. Guys getting cleated on their calves and stuff and only getting yellows. And I'm like, this guy didn't even mean to do it. He wasn't even looking. It was stupid. It was a terrible call. I couldn't believe it when he walked out and pulled out the red card. I'm like, what the frick? I was like, are you kidding me? That's super impactful. Super impactful. And again, the only reason you're doing it is because you're watching it over and over and over in slow-mo, and you're like, oh, his ankle could have gotten broken. And so the severity of the interaction gets interpreted as severity of the foul. And it's like, no, that's not how this should work. The entire scope of the footage should be considered. It was a collision, and he goes to put his foot down. It wasn't like he comes in from the side and just plows through the guy and almost breaks his ankle. A lot of the FIFA soccer players are drama queens. It's like when they get in any way touched, they throw themselves on the floor. Oh, they do it on purpose because it's a psychological form of stimulation. Like, you hear them cry out and grab their faces and stuff, and it's to in the moment. It's a split second for the ref to be like, okay, well, was that a foul or not? I mean, there was a guy that did it last night, and he didn't even get touched. Grabbed his face, fell to the ground, and didn't even get touched. And it's like, you're not reviewing that and carding him for flopping, but you should. But they can't do that. They can't stop the game every time somebody does that. But it's like impossible to overturn the red. Coulda, shoulda, woulda, should not determine cards. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you're saying. Are you agreeing with me, or are you saying that they shouldn't be able to look at the footage in slow mo and be like, yeah, this is definitely, deserving of a red card? That's how they got 5-2. It was 1-1 before the subs. Flopping should be a red card. It only takes a few seconds to review. Oh, yeah, I think some of the egregious flopping, I think there should be a crew that watches the replay and gets in the ref's ear and says, card that guy, yellow card him. That was a flop. There was one last night. They should have 100% carded the guy. That you put it on the Jumbotron. Everybody can see it. The guy didn't even get hit in his face. He falls to the ground, grabs his face, lays there for a second, and then you give them the free kick. And it's like, no. Within seconds, you have a team of people that can be like, yeah, that was a flop. Yellow him right there. It would put a stop to some of it. If every single time somebody did that, they got a yellow, they wouldn't do it. Now, they get hit, bumped, or touched, and they fall down, fine, whatever. A lot of times they're moving very quickly, so the slightest bump does hurt. It does. It hurts it can hurt your muscle, it can hurt your joints. You know, when you're in full speed and somebody, bumps into your leg, have somebody do that to you. Just run it as fast as you can through your backyard and have somebody just kick your shin lightly and you fall down. It frickin' hurt. But if you do the whole, and you grab your face, and within seconds they look at the replay and they're like, nobody touched your face. Yellow card. That's what I would do. I wouldn't even hesitate. I'd be like, yeah, card that guy. Yeah, that was a flop. Nobody touched his face. You can get a red card for covering your mouth now. They're trying to police the game too much. Why specifically covering your mouth? What's the reasoning behind carding for that? You think he's watching the game with his buddy who goes, oh, come on, who's reffing this game? I'm not sure what you mean. Oh, covering your mouth and talking to the other team? Oh. VAR can only look at key moments like goals, pens, and cards. The ref is in charge of most things. I disagree. Flops are called simulation, and the ref can card for this. The game needs to flow, not stop-start. What can happen is misviolence can be dealt with post-match. Well, I don't disagree with you, Hilly. I don't want the game constantly stopping when someone's flopping. But when they flop on the ground, they're still on the ground and play hasn't resumed, and then we all see the footage and it's a flop, yellow card that guy. There's nothing happening. He's laying on the ground. They should get in the ref's ear and say, we just watched the footage. He's still on the ground? No, his face didn't get touched at all. Yellow card that guy. You don't have to stop play for that. You say, get up. They just told me. You didn't get hit in the face. Yellow card. That's what I'm saying. They should institute that. He's laying on the dadgum ground. The ref can, but the ref doesn't see it, is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You should have an officiating team watching that footage, and when homie's still on the ground, play's not resuming because you're waiting for him to get back up to take his free kick, and the guys in the booth are like, no, he didn't even get hit. That should be a flop, yellow card, and then give the ball to the other team. That happened twice last night in the game, and I'm like, whatever. We're in a new era of time. The technology's hyper advanced. You got 85 cameras and angles and slow-mo within milliseconds of the event happening. You know whether or not it was legitimate, and you're like, flop. And if he's still laying there, that'll teach him real quick to not do that. If you actually get bumped, if you actually get hit, and you flop and you sell it and you get the free kick, fine. Yep, you got hit, you got bumped. But multiple times, homie's laying on the ground, and we've seen the play 3 different angles, and we're like, yeah, he's flopping, he's diving. No, I know you can get carded for diving. I'm saying there should be a team that helps the ref on the ground make those calls, because we know within seconds if it was legitimate or not. We're watching at home and we can see. IFAB's guidance says the VAR can check the footage in normal speed and or in slow motion, but in general, slow motion replays should only be used for facts like position of offense or player, point of contact for physical offenses and handball, ball out of play, including goal, no goal. Normal speed should be used for the intensity of an offense or to decide if it was a handball offense. Yeah, so they shouldn't have been re-watching that guy's ankle get rolled in slow-mo 10 different times to decide whether or not homie got a red card. I've seen one card fixing for diving. It happens a dozen times every game. Yeah, I saw one guy get carded for diving. He did it like right in front of the ref, and the ref carded him right there. All right, take care, Sarathan. I forget the Argentinian player's name, but he said a racial slur while covering his mouth. They're cracking down on it. Yeah, I think cracking down on that level of unsportsmanlike conduct should 100%. Yes. They should 100% be cracking down on that kind of stuff. What I'm just saying is we have the technology now to assist the ref to clean the game up. We do. It's not like you're constantly stopping play and being like, we need to review that flop. It's like the dude's laying there. Play has stopped, and you're waiting for him to get up and stop selling it and take his free kick because the ref has blown the whistle and sided with him. You could have an easy team of officiating people. I'll do it. I'll do it for $350. I'll sit there and be like, no, that's a flop. He didn't even get touched. Tell him to get up and take his yellow. That's what I would do. You're stop and play anyway. He's laying there. He's laying there. We have the technology to clean the game up. Is diving a red card? Yeah, no, it's just a yellow card. It's basically a warning. There's no such thing as a second yellow card. You get one. The next one is an automatic red. You get the yellow. Basically like a caution, a warning, hey, stop that. You get it again and it's not a yellow. You're out. So, once again, you'd clean the game up real quick because if people are going to fall down and grab their face or grab their ankle or what have you, there better be contact. If there's contact, fine, whatever. I'm not going to tell you whether or not that hurt. That's not my job. You're running full speed and somebody impacts your shin, your ankle, your leg, your knee, your whatever. It's not my job to say whether or not it hurt to the degree that you're selling it. But if there's no contact, get up, take your yellow, and knock it off. That's what I would say. You're stopping play anyway. Technically, you do get 2 yellows. I thought it was recorded as a yellow and a red. You get 2 yellows, it turns to a red. So when they run the stats on the game, what would it say? Would it say that the person got 2 yellows, or it would say red? Would it be 1 yellow, red, 2 yellows, or just red, like on their stat sheet? So it's recorded as 2 yellows, but they treat it as a red and he's gone. I thought it went yellow, then red, like they just pulled out the red and you were gone. I didn't realize they actually recorded the stat as 2 yellows. What if they flop because their feelings were hurt? Some of you guys are saying it comes up as a red. Straight red is a longer ban at club level than 2 yellows. Oh, really? So if it's 2 yellows, are you able to play the next game? Oh, the punishment for 2 yellows is less than a straight red. Oh, is it just ejection, no suspension? Like I said, I can't watch club play, so I don't know all the rules. I just know that what we watched last night was, I felt, was very, very poor officiating, and the red card was unwarranted. A yellow can ban you from the next game? A red can get a 3-match ban. One straight red is usually a 3-game ban, but for the World Cup, 2 yellows or a straight red is 1-game ban. Oh. Anything going on in the feeds? No. This doesn't even make any sense. So the game business has a community note. This doesn't make any sense. It says Obsidian was listed as a company in negotiation with Xbox over potential closure. This was a mistake. And then this says this has been debunked as false and a made-up rumor. Yeah, this community note's stupid. It literally says in the tweet that this was a mistake. What? Why is there a community note on a tweet that literally is letting people know that it was a mistake? What the frick? They're literally correcting the reporting. No, this is not helpful. Note not needed. Submit. Yeah, the note's not needed. That community note's stupid. It's literally a correct tweet. They're literally correcting the record. You shouldn't community note an outlet that's actually correcting the dadgum record. 5 separate yellows is a ban as well. How do you get 5 separate yellows? So like 5 games in a row or something? Ooh. Oh. Twitter at its finest? Yeah, like what the heck? And they tweeted it 47 seconds ago. So how does it already have a community note? Wait, that's the other thing that doesn't make any sense. They tweeted it literally within minutes. They're community noted? The Xbox boys are out in force, brigading, I guess. Oh, accumulated in a season. Oh, gosh. So I guess you really got to cool it if you start getting yellows. It's kind of crazy. 5 yellows over X amount of games. If you accumulate 5 yellows in a season, you get a 1-match ban. Does that... How common is that happening to people? I guess would be my question. The count gets reset multiple times throughout the year. Okay. Have you ever watched the Premier League football for England? No. My life's just not conducive to watching soccer throughout the year. I like hockey and soccer, and I just don't have time for it. I'm able to watch a lot of the World Cup because my kiddos want to watch it, and so we pull up Peacock and, watch maybe some of it during dinner. We watched the first half of the U.S. last night. My kids were fuming at the ref. Someone community noted PlayStation on their own announcement. Why? They're just making an announcement. How do you communicate? How do you community note that? Today's a good day for games. At 3 o'clock, Spain, Austria. That'll be fun. Then Portugal and Croatia at 7. There's a late game, though. 11. It's Switzerland and Algeria. That's not as interesting or exciting. So tomorrow being Friday... Tomorrow night is the stream with Madam if you guys unlock it. So you're close. This is not a bad number to go into Friday with. You guys should be able to unlock it tomorrow if you get some of the big boys to help rally. I fancy your chances against Belgium. Their team is not as strong as previous tournaments. Well, I guess my concern would be Belgium beat Senegal 3-2. Senegal wasn't exactly a slouch team, were they? This year? Oh, Senegal was third in their group. Okay, so Senegal wasn't that tough. Belgium just was first in their group, and they put up 3 on Senegal. Like, Belgium was first in their group. So, like, Senegal wasn't exactly a tough team, though, but still. They were late goals. That's tough. That's everybody's tired. You can propose a community note on anything. I'm in the program, so I can see if posts are proposing them. Oh, it was late goals and a penalty. Okay. I didn't watch it. I just saw the score and thought, ooh, uh-oh. A 3-2 is that's a lot of goals. Senegal choked as well. Yeah. The PKs with Holland, with the Netherlands, was devastating. Everybody's making the digital joke. Digital chairs from Respawn. The final is very likely France versus Argentina again. Yeah, I think we're going to get an Mbappe-Messi face-off, which is going to be amazing. Mbappe is very good. So is Lionel. We got some good games coming up. The PK Belgium got in overtime was questionable. There have been far worse fouls not given a PK. Yeah, you never like PKs that late. You just don't. They're so deterministic. You need to be really confident if you're putting a PK into play. I don't like them. I do not like PKs that late. It needs to be flagrant. Like early in the games, like, okay, yeah, I get it. You know, somebody gets tripped in the box or something. But like, you get into ET and it's like, it needs to be super flagrant. You're literally determining the outcome of the game practically. Like, you're basically determining who wins with that call. So, you watch the highlights from 2022 final. That's the greatest sports match in history. This is the most I've ever been able to watch. Being able to just pull it up on Peacock and also have, children that want to watch it, and technology is made it easier. I just put the tablet in front of me while Madam and I are playing. We've been working on, we're playing Astral Ascent. It's really fun. I'm not a fan of some of the later stage bosses where we take a ton of damage and it's like, that was the first time fighting the boss, and those telegraphs were really bad. Like, we lost to a boss last night, and she would just go, fring, 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 and I'm like, what? Like, you just took a ton of damage. You're like, I don't even know what you want me to do. I guess we're supposed to jump and stay in the air or something. She had a lot of attacks that were, like, really fast, and that's kind of my only critique of Astral Ascent. It's really fun. I love the customization. I love all the spells. I love the way you can adjust the spells, and we've unlocked new characters and we've got all kinds of stuff, but some of the later bosses can be a little annoying. This couple committed 3 felonies at the top of the Empire State Building and are freely walking around town and riding the subway while Balogun sits locked in a FIFA prison for playing soccer. You play Darwin's Paradox, a great puzzle platformer like Little Nightmares. I didn't finish it. Something else came out that took my attention away from Darwin's Paradox. I wasn't loving it, so it was really easy to not go back to it. I wasn't loving it. It was fine. It got a little... The controls weren't great. I understood why some of the review outlets that, like, when the review embargo dropped, some of the review outlets were kind of like, it's got like an old school platformer charm, but it also kind of feels clumsy like an old school platformer as well. A lot of people are making sure to let folks know they're doing physical. Dune Awakening just emailed and said they're doing a physical release. How'd you come to support the Netherlands? I feel like I answered you. Did you miss my answer? Or was it somebody else? It must have been somebody else that asked me. Yeah, they worded it almost the exact same way. I don't know what year it was. I worked at AT&T, and they had the Euro Cup on, and the Netherlands were playing against Germany, and their passing game was just so good. It was just so fun to watch. It made me, number one, want to watch soccer. It was so fun, and it was such a great match. And then I just was like, oh, man, I love the Netherlands. And so then when I was in the Holland airport, I literally bought like a really, bright orange Holland hoodie. So I've just always cheered for them if they're in the Euro or the World Cup. So... Little loves Amsterdam. That's right. Oranje. Unfortunately, they didn't advance. It's like the second or third time I've watched them in a cup lose in PKs. I think it's the third time. I think I've watched them lose in the Euro twice to PKs, I think. Happy 4th. Have a great rest of the day and stream. See you, chat. See you, Mikey. Yeah, it's 1 o'clock. We're closing in on a 4-hour stream. That's usually when we call it quits. So, guys, make sure you're hitting the like button. And if you are a member on YouTube or a sub on Twitch, you get to come with us right now. We're going to go into the Discord and do Green Room. So that is something that you're missing out on. Is Castlevania Belmont's Curse on physical? I'm not sure. So... Great way to support. You can also follow me in other various places. You can follow me on Twitter here, at Reforge Gaming. You can watch and follow and support on Twitch, Reforge Gaming. If you have Amazon Prime, that's a really easy way to support me and take part in the Green Room. You can connect your Amazon and your Twitch account and then go sub to me on Twitch. Whoops. So you can go to twitch.tv, Reforge Gaming. There I am. There's a channel. And then you can see right here, they're doing this 35% off thing on gifteds. Look at that. It's like a streamception. There you go. So, various ways to follow and stay connected. Easiest way, again, is just if you're paying for Amazon Prime, you might as well just use that Twitch Prime and then come to the Discord, right? Come to the Discord. You can be a part of the Green Room, which is what we're about to do now. So, thanks for the great support today. You guys are close to that goal. You should be able to lock that in tomorrow. We'll be streaming in the morning, and then we'll be doing the roundtable with Ginger. Behemoth comes over here and gets a 19-month resub. Let's add that to the total. Boom, 338. Thank you so much, Behemoth. And if you guys are going to go crazy and you're going to do your gifting to get to the goal, do it on Twitch. It's that 35% discount. It's going to make it a whole lot easier. So bat signal the big boys and let them know that they're doing a discount on Twitch. And that we're within reach of the goal. All right? Sorry for being late. You're good. You're good, homie. You know you're good. So, on your way out on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. It helps me out. It supports the stream, and then it'll get more people watching on the VOD. Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you in the Green Room in the Discord. I'm just going to turn the music down and thank Behemoth for a 25 bomb on Twitch. You're amazing. I'll add that in the green room. You're a freaking maniac, Behemoth. Thanks, brother. Keep those gifteds going, those subs going. Y'all are the best.